Hey guys, brand new podcast. I am still in Macon, Georgia, in quarantine, in a bubble. I can't really tell you what I'm doing yet, but if you're a fan of AEW tonight, you can find out. To watch the AEW tonight, and you will find out why I am here. Bert, are you a professional wrestler now? Maybe. Maybe I'm fighting Cody Rhodes. Maybe. You never know. Maybe I'm bringing back the claw like Kerry Von Erich. I've been fucking obsessed with wrestling lately. I've been obsessed with wrestling. I've been watching old Kerry Von Erich, Ric Flair matches. I know everything about the Von Erich brothers. I would love, it's so funny. This all stemmed off Tom talking shit about wrestling. And then just randomly wrestling showed up on my radar a couple different places. And I saw this Dark Side of the Ring, and Dark Side of the Ring is such a great fucking show. It really is. And now I spent the weekend, or mostly the weekend, watching. I was obsessed with Kerry Von Erich when I was a kid. Kerry Von Erich, Dusty Rhodes, like old school wrestling. You know, Hulk Hogan, obviously, Paul Orndorff, Iron Sheik, Roddy Roddy-Piper. All that stuff was like Andre the Giant. All that was, who I was a fan of. But my fandom started with Kerry Von Erich. We were standing on top of a dugout at Forest Hills, and Drew McCall, who's passed away now, shout out to Drew. Drew McCall was telling us a breakdown of this Kerry Von Erich Ric Flair match, the one I've now watched. I never watched it before, but I remember him telling me about this. He talked about the Fantastic Freebirds and Kevin Von Erich and Mike Von Erich and Fritz Von Erich. It's so funny. He told me this story, and this story just grabbed my attention. The way he told the story of these matches. Texas Stadium, 40,000 people. And I remember picturing the Sun Dome in Tampa. Picturing that it happened there. It happened in Texas Stadium, and 41,000 people. And he walked me through the match. He told us all about these two matches that I guess he must have watched on television. And he told them so engagingly. I was like hooked. And then when he told the Ric Flair, Kerry Von Erich story, and he talked about the finish. He was this guy, Drew McCall, was a friend of mine growing up, and he's recently passed away, but he was a legit fan of wrestling, like obsessed with wrestling. And I remember hearing about that and then being like, holy shit. I started watching the Von Erichs. Right after that, I started watching a lot of the Texas wrestling. I grew up going with my friends to the Tampa Armory and watching a lot of great wrestling matches. It was right by University of Tampa in Tampa. Saw Dusty Rhodes wrestle there. Saw Mike Graham wrestle there. Saw Chief Wahoo McDaniels. I saw a bunch of great wrestling matches. I don't know why I got into wrestling the way I did recently. But man, I know so much about such obscure things. I was talking to a friend about this. I think it's because I like being a fan of shit. I love being into stuff. Like, I think that's why I love doing open tabs is stuff fascinates me, and then I can't get enough of it. And for whatever reason, whether it's Flash Flood Chasers or hip hop, hip hop's been like rough on me because I'm obsessed with hip hop. Obsessed, and I'm obsessed with like the Breakfast Club, and oh man, I got this new rapper I love. His name's Toby Nwigwe. I think I said that right. Toby. I'm going to spell it for you. Me and Burr talked about him on our Bill Bert podcast. Let me find him for you. Me and Burr talked about him on our Bill Bert podcast, and Burr's like, bro, you gotta watch this guy. He's amazing. Burr met him at Chappelle's house. So I was like, and then I didn't get his music, and I'm standing at work the other day in Macon, and someone goes, hey man, you and Burr talked about Toby. I think I'm saying it right. Nigwe. And he goes, you and Bert were talking about him. I said, yeah. And he goes, that guy actually posted a clip of you and Bert talking about him on his Instagram. And I was like, oh, for real? And so I was like, oh shit, I got to check him out. So I checked him out. They got him and his wife have this song called Eat. And it is so awesome. If I play this, can you just take this out of the YouTube so they don't hear it, but they can hear it in audio if they're listening to audio, right? It's awesome, bro. It's awesome. This song is called Eat. It's called Eat. His name is TOBENWIGWE. Me and Bert talked about him. I'm obsessed with him. I can't stop listening to him. He is just really fucking great. He is really, really great. So I don't know how I got onto that subject. I have no idea how we got here, guys. Anyway.
You're talking about open tabs and how you like being a fan of stuff.
Oh, and so hip-hop's like a soft spot for me. Drink Champs, one of my favorite podcasts. Breakfast Club, Joe Budden, obviously Jesus and Miro. Like, I just 85 South. I've talked about 85 South a number of times on our podcast, my podcast with Segura. 85 South's like my fucking one of my favorite podcasts. And by the way, have you watched it, Halston? It's such an interesting podcast because I can't tell if they've started the podcast or not, but they're just sitting around rolling joints and talking before they start. But they made me laugh so fucking hard. Those guys are so funny. But I love getting into shit. I love it. Now I'm just obsessed with old school pro wrestling. I want to try to start. I tried to get into NASCAR one time. And so maybe I'll try to get into pro wrestling, like current pro wrestling, like AEW, I don't know.
I mean, you had Ethan Page on a while back.
Ethan Page, Colt Cabana.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas Page I've done a podcast with. So yeah, we'll see. But today's a great podcast. Do we have any reads?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we have some reads. We have some mid-rolls. We have some pre-reads, I'm sure. But do we have a pre-read right now?
Yes.
This podcast is brought to you by Quip. When was the last time you got rewarded for brushing your teeth? Well, with Quip's new smart electric toothbrush, good habits can earn you great perks like free products, gift cards, and more. I am a man defined around reward, especially if you can tether it to an app. It's the reason I run so much. I do all my runs on an app, and then I can track it. I love getting rewards, though. I think everyone knows I'm a man that loves treats, and I have a hard time, and I struggle with building healthy habits. You also know that. You've probably heard me talk about Quip a million times. But this is something brand new that rewards you and your mouth. The Quip Smart Brush connects to the Quip app with Bluetooth, tracks when and how well you brush, gets tips and coaching improvements for your habits. Earn points for daily brushing and bonus points for completing challenges like streaks. Redeem rewards like gift cards, products, discounts from Quip and their partners. Already have a Quip like me? Yeah, you do. I do. Upgrade with the Smart Motor. The keep features you know and love. Obviously, the thing I love about Quip is they've got that sensitive sonic vibration plus a 2-minute timer for 30-second pulses for a guide and clean. It's super easy, super slick, super slim, super sleek, super lightweight, no wires, no bulky chargers weigh you down. And it's got that multi-travel cover that you can throw on the mirror and it holds your brush off the counter. I love the Quip. I love more, and then importantly, I love their toothpaste. Their toothpaste is fucking awesome. I have a problem with the taste of toothpaste, but not Quip's. And they've got anti-cavity ingredients for strong, healthy teeth. The floss, the eco-friendly solar-powered battery, a refresh brag so you can bring good oral cares everywhere you go. Plus, you can get brush heads, toothpaste, and floss refills delivered for $5 and shipping is free. How smart is that? Join the over 5 million mouths using Quip and save hundreds compared to the other Bluetooth brushes when you get a Quip Smart Brush for just $45. Start getting rewards for brushing your teeth today and go to getquip.com/Bertcast right now to get your first free refill. That's your first free refill at getquip.com/Bertcast. That's GETQUIP.com/Bertcast. Quip. Better oral care made simple and rewarding. New Two Bears One Cave is out right now. New Bill Bert is late this week. We're recording it tonight and dropping it. I will be talking about Toby. I wish I could fucking say his name better. Nguigwe. I think I said it right. I will be talking that on that. I got a great podcast coming out next week with Sam Talent, Shane Gillis, who's on today. We're going to say more about Shane in a second, and Doug Stanhope. That I got to do a little promo read for Sam Talent. We will talk about this tomorrow or next week ad nauseum, but he wrote a book called Running the Light that is the best book I've ever read about stand-up comedy. It is the best book I've ever read. Stanhope called me one night and said, listen, you got to get this book. You got to read it. You're going to love it. You got to get this guy on the podcast. I read the book in like 2 days, called him up. We did a podcast. We just finished it. That'll come out next week or the week after. Who else do we have lined up? Do you know, Alston?
Nobody.
Oh, it's just Shane and then those guys?
Yep.
So Shane Gillis this week, and then Sam Talent, Shane Gillis, and Doug Stanhope next week. That's a fun podcast. This one's a great podcast. We started listening to Shane. Shane, if you know or you don't know, I'm sure you do, was cast on Saturday Night Live, and then they pulled it away from him from something he said on a podcast earlier. It was, I don't know if I ever talked about it on my podcast. I don't think I did. If I did, I don't know if I had said anything. I don't remember what I said. But all I'll say is we've all said fucked up stuff on podcasts. It really makes it to the point where you're like, just the lesson is don't try to get on SNL. That's a fucked up thing, you know? Don't go for your dreams, everybody. If you've ever been on a podcast like I have for the fucking past 10 years and spoken thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of bullshit, half of which have been drunk, half of which have been high. I mean, God, and there will be stuff to said on this podcast that, taken out of context, does not represent me to my fullest. I'm certain of it. But regardless, for those of you that don't know, let me track back. So Shane was a part of that, obviously. More importantly, what happened is Ari drugged Big J Okerson. I'm imagining that you, as a fan, can understand that I have a dog in that fight. When I heard that happened, I had to watch it. I bought the Legion of Skanks membership so I could watch it immediately. I was in my hotel room. Ari talked to me about it. I talked to Big J about it. And it was interesting because obviously I was drugged by Ari. I never released that podcast. I never released it for a number of reasons, mainly of which I didn't really want to reward that behavior. I didn't want to be celebrating something that I had feelings about. Adversely, the second I find out Big J has been roofied, the first thing I do is run to that podcast. And I will tell you, it is amazing content. It is riveting. It is fucking, I think I called some people and I FaceTimed them and I watched it with them. And I'll tell you why. It's a little different than my drugging. Number one, mine was Molly. Jay got slipped LSD, which is, we're fighting. Just so you know, we're fighting if you put LSD in my fucking drink. I definitely don't want Molly. It's amazing the perspective I've come back with. I'm very grateful that Ari slipped me Molly and not LSD. Very, very, very grateful. Very grateful. LSD is an 8 to 10 hour trip. I would not have had the wherewithal to be able to get on an airplane on LSD. I got on an airplane on Molly and was less than thrilled about it. But what happened is Lewis tried to slip LSD to Ari. Ari found out via our guest today, Shane Gillis, and then Ari switched glasses with Big J and then pretended like he was on LSD. And then throughout the entire podcast, and this is why this is so riveting, Louis J. Gomez is nodding on to people, letting them know he slipped Ari LSD, and Ari is acting as if he's been slipped LSD. And at the end, during this election, Lewis says, Ari says he stands for chaos. I stand for chaos. Ari, you're on LSD. I slipped it to you about an hour and a half ago. It's really strong LSD. I did this for Bert Kreischer. And Ari laughs and takes the hit and then says, do you really think I'm that stupid? Jay is on LSD. It is so fucking fascinating and riveting and heartbreaking because Big J is a innocent bystander in all of this. He didn't want Ari to be slipped LSD, and then Big J got slipped LSD. We did this podcast the morning after that whole event. And so I talked to Shane about that right up front. That's what we talk about a lot of. And Shane is very torn because he feels like he betrayed Jay. Jay was good to him. We talk about that right up front. We talk a little bit about the SNL firing and saying stuff. And then we also talk in that, and this is how this whole thing started, is we were on our tour bus. By the way, Hot Summer Nights tour is back out on the road. We are going, I should have said this earlier. I'll say this right before I announce his name because I know you'll listen to that part. But we were on tour and my cousin Andrew was like, yo, have you seen Shane Gillis' Special Olympics joke? And I was like, no. And he goes, it's actually a really fucking great joke. And you're like, really? You know, obviously Special Olympics subject matter is tough to cover because it's, it's pretty volatile. I've had friends that have gotten in trouble for it. But we played it and it's a really fucking funny, goddamn funny fucking joke. Really insightful. I would say sensitive. It's not triggering or whatever. I'm so uncomfortable on this couch. But it's a good fucking joke. And then we started listening to a bunch of his material and we started laughing hard as fuck. And I was like, you know what, man? Everyone loves a good fucking underdog story, a good comeback. In our business, a comeback story is amazing. And this is a guy that kind of got thrown to the woke mob. It was not the most hateful thing you could ever think to say. I didn't think. I don't remember. In my recollection, it's been a while. And I think he got thrown to the woke mob because it was SNL, and he took the hit. And he took it in a really hard way and got the moniker of being racist when, in fact, he is not. He's just a regular dude who said some off-color shit. Him and his buddy laughed and didn't think anyone would hear about it. And then it did get heard of, and here he is. And I think, I'll tell you right now, I know Shane is a good guy. I've worked with him before. He's a sweet dude. He is a very, very talented comedian. And I hope, I'm hoping for a fucking awesome redemption. I'm hoping in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, who knows how long he's been doing it. But I hope when he's 47, he has a fucking amazing career that he's very proud of. And people look back and go, man, that thing he did when he was young, so silly, so stupid. It was dumb. And he laughs it off. And he's like, yeah, can you believe that's how I started? Because he's that talented. He's at Stanhope's house right now with Doug and Sam Talent. Like I said, that podcast will be coming out next. But this is me and Shane just shooting the shit. By the way, Hot Summer Nights Tour is back on the road October 7th in Salt Lake City, October 8th in Grand Junction, Colorado, October 9th in Colorado Springs, the 12th in Prescott, Arizona, the 13th in Santa Fe, New Mexico. The 15th is a very special day. I can't tell you why. It is a very special day. I will announce that soon with my friend Tom Segura. That's right. Houston, Texas on the 16th, the 17th, San Antonio, Texas, the 18th, Dallas, Fort Worth, St. Louis on the 20th, Toledo on the 21st, Cleveland on the 22nd, and Hoffman Estates, Illinois on the 23rd of October. And then our tour is over. We're going to find a place to stop, party for a couple days before Halloween, and then we will be back. I can't wait. I can't wait to get back on the road. I can't wait to get back home, really. I've been gone for quite a while. Oh, I forgot to plug my battery in. There we go. But you're going to love this podcast. Find me on the road, Hot Summer Nights Tour. We're going to add shows, I'm sure. I think we've already sold out a bunch of shows. Tickets are available at bertbertbert.com. No promo code. Get your tickets right now. Starting in Salt Lake City on the 7th, ending in Chicago on the 23rd of October. Today's podcast, without further ado, my buddy, stand-up comedian, Shane Gillis.
He's the man, the myth, the legend, the fucking machine.
All I can say is, boy, am I so excited that we postponed it until today.
Oh, you got the news?
I saw some of the most riveting footage I've ever seen in my life last night.
What was it?
Are you fucking serious?
What was it?
Big J being dosed with LSD.
I know. I haven't felt that guilty all day yesterday, dude. I felt like I still haven't talked to him. He still hasn't talked to me.
I talked to him yesterday.
I'm pretty sad about it.
It's really, it's very fascinating
but it was funny.
I'll tell you what, I will definitely say, unlike my dosing, there was backstory, and it was really fun. I'll tell you what, knowing what I knew, I have so many fucking questions. We should probably talk about this first, then I have a ton of stuff to talk to you about, but
yeah.
You showed up just on our radar on the tour bus. Someone random, just like, dude, you heard Shane Gillis's joke? And I go, what joke? And they're like, the Special Olympics joke? And I go, no. And they're like, oh, my cousin Andrew is like, dude, it's one of the fucking better jokes I've ever heard. And I went, really? So we play it on the tour bus, put it on the screen, and we are crying, laughing. We're crying, laughing. And we're like, God damn it. And I was, and then all of a sudden it's like you were popping up everywhere. But this, let's start from the beginning. So I get a call from Ari. I get a text from Ari like 2 nights ago that says, Legion of the Skanks is the greatest podcast ever. It is exactly what should be happening in comedy. Prove me wrong. And then me and Tom wake up like, what? And then he goes, sorry, I was on LSD last night. I was a little high. And so we're like, okay. Yeah. So then I call Ari yesterday. I go, hey, congrats on presidency. I know you were his vice president.
Yeah,
congratulations. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, it was fucking crazy. And he tells me the story. I would love to hear it from your perspective, from how it started off, because that is because I spent the whole show waiting to find out when you whispered to him that he was being dosed.
I whispered, all right. So I get there. Everybody was going down to the stand with the intention of getting fucked up. Like DeRosa on the way there, he called me and was like, Norman's coming. We're all going to get, like, it was just like, we all, it's one of those nights where everybody kind of had the idea of this is going to be an ugly night. And so it was fun. It was rowdy. It was a very fun night. But when I got there, I saw a guy hand LSD to Lewis. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. I've never done it. I was like, this is a little wild. And then Lewis is an idiot. So he looked at me and was like, I'm going to dose Ari. Don't tell him. And I was like, oh, okay. I won't tell him. And I immediately walked over and told him. I was like, yeah, Lewis is going to try to dose you.
So this is before Ari sat down.
This is before the show. Yeah, it was right before the show.
It's important to note that Ari and your platform was for this. We're talking. So this is the day they're running for Legion of Skanks president, and Ari and your platform was mayhem. You will incite mayhem. Ari dressed as the Joker. I will bring mayhem. There is no order. I love chaos. And I think if you know Ari, he loves mayhem. He does love chaos. I sometimes think he likes chaos more than he likes comedy, to be honest with you. I think Ari would much rather urinate on Zach D'Amico than go up and do a set. I think definitely.
Yeah, that worries me. This was a shaky alliance, dude.
Ari's obsession with chaos is what's that?
I was worried the whole time.
Chaos. Okay. So Ari's getting dosed. Oh, yeah. Hold on. My connection's stable. Give me a second. Halston, we good? Okay. So Ari's getting dosed. So you go up to Ari and tell him.
tell him he's getting dosed. I mean, with the plan of obviously giving it back to Lewis, like sneaking it back to Lewis, dosing Lewis. But while we're sitting there, I see it. I see the cup of beer. I didn't know when it was going to happen or where it was going to happen. Right when I sit down, Ari like kind of points to his beer, and there's a tab of acid just sitting in the foam. And I was like, all right, that's the one. And then here's where it got sad, because Jay's been having a rough week or two. You know, he got yanked off stage.
Yeah. Fucking
so funny,
dude. That story in and of itself, the fact that the guy who yanked him off, his dad was like, my son's a piece of shit. My daughter's fucking bipolar alcoholic. I'm a Legion of Skanks fan. Do or die. Fucking go mites, go mites, go mites. And you're like,
Jesus, these people.
Christ.
Yeah, these are the worst people. So he pulls them off stage. They're the worst, dude. It's like, but they're also the funniest. So he pulls Jay off stage, and Jay lands on him. And hilarious. And then Lewis comes out and beats him up. So Lewis gets all the credit. Lewis is the hero. Jay's a victim. So it's a shitty look for Jay. That sucks. Especially because Lewis then was like, yeah, I'm the best. So then the fucking Jay is talking last week, and Lewis ruins the 76ers game for him that he was recording. Just a pretty consistent level of L's over and over again. And then he got last place in the election. He got 10% of the vote, which is crazy. I mean, you got people like, it was almost like actively disliked him.
Yeah. And by the way,
poorly.
We should be very clear to anyone listening to this. I am good friends with Lewis, Jay, Ari. All these people we're friends with, all these fans that we're shitting on, we like.
Oh yeah.
This is part of the energy. Is like it's fine. Everything's fine. No one. I don't want anyone that's coming brand new to the podcast and hearing this for the first time being like, "What kind?" You can actually say, "What kind of animals are these?" But we love these animals. Like that's part of the beauty of it.
Yeah, I mean the story. I'm kind of the bad guy in the story here. So you do not. By the way, you do not come out the bad guy. I've watched this 100 times. Your hand rub like oh no is. All right. So I sit down. Jay loses, and he gets up to give his concession speech, which is so funny. Such a funny time to dose him. So he's up in front of everybody accepting his loss, and then I just watch Ari put that cup right in front of Jay, and I was just like, "Oh, dude, not Jay. This is not the guy." But I had to. I don't know. I had to go with it, and then I mean, I was conflicted, but it had to be done.
It's crazy because I will say, obviously everyone knows I was dosed by Ari. The feeling is Jay and I had a lot in common talking on the phone yesterday about feelings of how you feel when it happens to you and why it's you, why they picked you. And I think Ari's defense is it was whoever was closest to me at that time. It was going to be whoever was closest to me.
Yeah.
And I think Ari also looks at dosing people as like a good time. Like, it's like, that's the fun of being a comic. I know Joe celebrates it. Like I've heard Joe talk both ways. I've heard Joe talk to me personally very concernedly about that's fucked up. We're grown-ups.
Yeah.
We shouldn't do that. But then I've also heard him celebrate it on his podcast. Like, how fucking crazy, man. What kind of job, like, so it really is a weird way to receive it. I know Jay is very bothered by it, but in hearing it, just as a fan, I was like, shut up. I got to watch this.
Everybody
so
did.
Funny. Oh, dude, I bought the fucking god-awful gas digital membership last night to watch it in my bed.
You should have fucking stolen that link.
So tell me now, so explain to everyone how it shakes down at the end, which is...
Hold on, before we do it, I do want to say I agree with almost the same thing where, like, if I was talking to Jay, which, I would text him and be like, yeah, it is fucked up. Sorry. I'm sorry. Like, I felt horrible. But then there's also a part of me, and I've been wrong about this to literally everybody I've talked to, where I was like, if I was the one who got dosed, I think I'd be like okay with it. And that was funny. But everybody, literally every single person I've talked to have been like, oh no, I'd be furious. I'd be furious.
Everyone's going to be furious. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because it reaches, it's far further reaching than just a prank. It's, how do you perceive me? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like that. And it's, you know, and it fucked with my head very bad, like very, very bad. And it really did fuck with me and Ari's friendship, where I had to make a concerted effort to forgive him, where I really didn't want to. I didn't care to. I was like, I don't need to give you that energy. I don't need to forgive you. I can just write you out of my life and not have you in my life. And there was a solid month where I was like, I don't need to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to Joe. I don't want to talk to Tom. I don't want to talk to any of them. We were doing Sober October and I was shut down. I was incommunicado with the group. I think me and Joe and Tom started a separate thread where we didn't include Ari. I think we were all like, Sober October's over. It'll never happen again. And my wife hated him. My daughters hate him. Like it was so complicated. My daughters hate Ari's guts. You know, they said to me last night, like, it's fucking hilarious. The funniest, I have a joke I've been working on stage about it, because what I won't share the jokes. I think it will work on stage one day. Sure. But what's crazy is that, like, they heard about Big J last night. I called my wife and I was like, hey, Big J got dosed. My wife loves Big J and Lewis a lot.
Yeah,
she loves Lewis and Bobby Kelly, like those kind of guys. My wife loves, and she goes, Ari fucking did it, and I went, yeah, and she goes, I fucking knew it. God damn it, why hasn't he learned? And then I called back later that night because my wife and I were going to talk about it. Because I was like, and Georgia picked up the phone. She goes, Ari really is a piece of shit, isn't he? And I was like, Georgia, hold on. And it's now I'm defending Ari to my daughter. Yeah. And it's such a fucked up situation to be in that, but I empathized with Jay. But I will say that, like, and I never released my content, and I never will, because that look in your eyes when you see it happening and you went, oh no, like, and when Jay realizes he's been dosed and he's like, wait, is this real?
He goes, nah. It's like, oh man. There was one part during where Lewis was like, no, that's like some really strong acid. And I was just like, oh fuck, dude. Because it was while they were talking about Ari being dosed. Lewis was making fun of him. He was like, that's some strong shit. And I was just like, oh fuck, Jay has it. This is not good, dude. This is I told Soder, and Soder was like devastated. He was like, "Oh my god, dude!"
Yeah,
and it was too late. I mean, he already had drank it, so Soder was just like, "Oh, dude, this is gonna be bad."
It's so interesting because I thought you were taking sips out of that beer the whole time.
I took at the end of it. I drank it to I did kind of feel bad. I was like, "I'll do it with you." Said we could have fun, but he left, and then I was just on acid for the first time in my life.
Wait,
I forgot. I forgot I took it because I was drinking, and then I was sitting outside, and somebody just went like this, like in front of my face while we were talking, and I was just like, "Oh man, do that again! I gotta see that." And they did it again, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I forgot about this." So I text Ari, and because he was downstairs, and I was like, yo, I think that acid worked. Are you feeling this? And he was like, no, I'm fine. And then a minute later, he was like, oh, never mind. Yeah, it's very strong. Holy shit. It was pretty strong.
Yeah, I told Jay, I said, go through, because he's like, I got a lot of feelings. I said, hold on to your feelings. Hold on to your feelings. Hold on to your thoughts. Don't share them with anyone, because it was the biggest mistake I did the biggest mistake I've ever done is ever just go and be 100% candid on fucking podcasts. I regret it. I regretted it 100% all the time, but it is who I am, I guess. I don't know another way to operate, but what you just said is exactly what Jay needs to know, is that like that you're not just like yo man, get over it. Like that's that's what I think really angered me was, yo Bert, get over it. And I was like, hey, I'm an adult. I'm allowed to have feelings. And that's what's fucked up about when you talk about the group that we're in, the group of guys comics that we hang with, which has been maybe rightfully blamed at times as being toxic masculinity, but is that, yo man, get over it, is what's wrong with what's wrong with us in general, you know?
yeah. For sure. And Jay, like, I don't know. It's obviously it's not for me to ever say like, oh, come on. It's like, dude, he's never done that drug. And then he got, it's like rape, dude. He was like, what? He's like, someone took advantage of me? What? And it was just like, yeah, your closest friends. Anyway.
Yeah. But go ahead.
It was funny. So
I'll tell you what.
That's where I'm.
If I didn't know, first of all, if I didn't know, I probably wouldn't watch the whole podcast. I would have been like, get to the election results, 2 hours. But man, knowing what I knew, it was one of the most riveting things I've ever seen. To watch Ari, first of all, plot. He plotted for a solid 45 minutes, hour. And then once he struck, to watch him act for another hour, to act like he had gotten dosed. To watch Lewis, to watch you was fascinating, because you are the only one in on it that is on sides of the fence. Yeah. To watch Lewis do these little nods like, yeah, I got him. I fucking got him. I got him, man. I got him. And then to watch Lewis with all the bluster and confidence of the Puerto Rican rattlesnake declare, I'm not going to ruin it for everyone, but because I want people to watch it. The reveal was, I FaceTimed people last night and watched it with them. Like, it was like,
it's crazy.
It was insane. It really is crazy. It really is crazy. And that is what network television will never allow that. Like that is one. That is a
well, the law would not. Yeah, that was illegal. I don't know. That was very illegal. That was a crime. I mean, that was
you know what I thought?
Yeah.
You know what I thought was like, as I was watching it, I was like, you're such a nice guy, and you get put in bad guy situations where you're not a bad guy. You're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've been in a couple of those. Yeah. Yeah, I've been in a couple of situations where I, wrong place, wrong time type deal. But and here's what sucks the most for me is Jay and Christine have helped me out. They've always helped me out. They brought me into the group, Yeah. I'm the new guy in the group, and then to betray Jay, who's
you're a Philly guy.
Yeah. That's like a real fucked up move for like me to jump in and be like, yeah, fuck you. And, he brought me in.
It's a hard call on your spot, because it is a hard call, because you aren't the one doing it. You aren't the one doing it. Yeah, and then I don't know. It's a tough spot. All I know is that being in Jay's shoes, all he wants to hear is like, not people who say get over it. That's all. Yeah. He wants people to go like, hey man, if you're mad, I get it. Ari did. I have to defend Ari in my situation. Is he did do the right thing, and he gave me space, and he texted me. He texted me every single day and was like, hey, I don't want to ruin our friendship over this. And in my head, I was like, in my wife's head, she was like, it should definitely be ruined. But in my head, I was like, it's not ruined. I just don't want to fix it right now. Like, I don't care to fix it now. Like, I do want to fix it. I do love Ari. I do. I talked to him for an hour yesterday walking in this parking lot. And there are redeemable. I do think that this behavior will catch up with him. And I wish I could be a friend to him and say, stop. This is going to come back in a really bad way. Like, you can't steal that much from the karma plate and never get bit.
Yeah.
I guess he's been bit ultimately with the Kobe stuff and like, death threats and doxings and I guess he, his thing is he loves chaos. He loves that shit. And, I think my thing, and I do think it's your thing. And this is what I think this is definitely Jay's thing. I don't know if it's Lewis's thing. I don't know if it's Zach D'Amico's thing. And
it's Lewis's.
But I mean, when I say this, I mean, me and Jay's thing, and I will say your thing, is I would rather sit at a table and just find a way to giggle than the antics of dosing people. Like the dosing part, I could give two fucks about. Like it's what really bothered me about Ari dosing me is that I had a great fucking podcast with him. Like we had a great podcast. It was funny as shit. We were laughing. And then once I found out I was dosed, it was no longer fun for me. And so I know Jay's feeling is we had a great fucking show. Now, granted, I will say it was it's pretty fucking
enhanced.
It definitely is enhanced. But I think the argument could be, Lewis and Ari love that shit. Second someone, takes a fake dick out and someone sucks it, that's the fucking take it further. It's like,
Yeah, I agree. And I totally agree. It's their thing. It's like pro wrestling, that show, where it's like, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy. Oh shit, they're going to do this. They're going to do this. So, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to be a part of. I don't know if I could do it every week because it's a lot, but it is very fun. I do. I love that show.
Oh, I love doing Legion Skank.
Of course.
It's fucking funny shit. And I love Lewis. By the way, I'm talking very honestly about friends. I love Lewis. I love Big J.
Yeah.
Zach D'Amico's hilarious. Fucking, obviously I love Ari. But you can be from the outside looking in going, especially as a professional comedian, like this is fucking insane. I can't believe there's alt comics that take these guys on. What fucking lunatics are like, I'm going to fucking milkshake these motherfuckers. Like
that would be a mistake.
I'm like blown away that there are dudes that go to war with Legion of Skanks.
Yeah, but they also these dorks like sit there and look at Legion of Skanks and they're like, oh, these guys are actually Nazis. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Like
there's a humor in Lewis talking about finally moving to a white neighborhood, and you're like, you're not white, Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis is a Puerto Rican.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And there is something really beautiful in gentlemen who really don't care about at all cancel culture or corporate. Do you feel like you'll ever find a way back into corporate comedy? Meaning not doing corporates, but like getting on television or doing Netflix or doing something like that. Do you feel like, because what I'll just say this from the outside. It's like, it's admirable that you said, I took that hit, I got it, but I'm still a comic. I'm getting on stage every night. And you're like, I'm not, what do you think I'm going to just go, that's it, you got me. I'm 10 years in, 7 years in, I'm fucking hanging it up. You got me. I'm going back to Philly. Like it's admirable that you did that and you're putting out great fucking work.
Thank you. I mean, I'm just going to keep doing stand-up. And I mean, whatever. I didn't get into this to do sitcoms. I got into this because I wanted to do stand-up. So if I can do that, that'd be great. It's funny. I was talking to Soder last night. I was driving home, coming down from Legion of Skanks, that fucking anxiety. And I was just like, I don't know if I can get it. Like it was like one of those moments. Like for the most part, I'm very confident about it. And then every once in a while, I'll have enough of a hangover to be like, man, I think I'm fucked. Like call Soder and be like, how the fuck am I going to get on this special, dude? I think I'm going to be a fucking podcasting YouTube dude the rest of my life. And he's like, you'll be all right. So, I mean, the doubt creeps in for sure.
But you're just putting in, I mean, it's interesting that Special Olympics joke has the teeth that like good comedy has, but it's not hurtful and hateful. It's not like a hateful joke. And it comes from a place of working. I don't want to ruin the joke. I want people to hear it.
Yeah.
But it really is. And it's an insightful perception as a comic. I saw, and then all of a sudden, like we started like binge watching a lot of your stuff, and you have a lot of what Bert has in you say things in a sports rhythm sometimes. That makes sense?
Yeah, of course.
It's
for sure.
Patton does it. You know, Patton said that he reads Sporting News' top 10 articles of the year just because he loves sports pacing of writers.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but so were you a sports guy growing up?
Yeah, still am.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You mean?
Oh, yeah. By the way, you went. This is what I love. You went to Legion of Skanks dressed like a coach. You're wearing an Under Armour collar.
That's all I got. That's all I got is Under Armour coaches polos.
So wait, tell me about
the hockey team.
Tell me about sports.
Well, I played football growing up, and I sucked. I went to Army. I got a scholarship. Well, not everybody gets a scholarship, but I went to play football at Army, and then I quit right away. And then I played 1 year of 1AA college football. But I've always my whole family's been like, it's just a Notre Dame picture in our basement framed. That's a very important thing. I met my parents. My whole family's, just football. Cousin played at Notre Dame. Everybody's obsessed. We're all huge offensive linemen, big fat white guys that claim to be athletes. It's pretty good.
What was the shift to comedy?
I don't know. I always loved it. Truthfully, I remember in I think it was like 7th or 8th grade, probably like 8th or 9th grade, watching fucking Carlos Mencia and Dane Cook's half hours on Comedy Central. And I was like, those guys rule. Then, you get older and you're like, oh man, it's in 8th grade. But those Dane Cook's half hour fucking murdered. His Comedy Central.
I was there.
Were you?
Yeah, I went to dinner with him after that.
I mean, it's still awesome. But yeah, I remember always liking it. And then, yeah, while I was at West Point, I was like standing there because you got to like stand. All you do is stand at West Point. Just stand at fucking attention and sit there. And I was like, if I do quit this, I'm going to try to do comedy. And I did. So.
This podcast is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Getting a job, finding the right employees for a job, all that's made so difficult right now, what with social distancing and supplying masks for employees. And it's been a real nightmare. I can speak from personal experience. I'm working right now. Everything's been insanely made 10 times more difficult. Monica Starks could relate. She needed to hire people for her pivotal role at her construction company, GS Group. But having a tough time finding the right person was what was happening to her, especially with so many candidates out there. So she switched to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its technology identifies people with the right experience for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bertcast. That's how Monica found Lamont Jenkins. She said that ZipRecruiter sent Lamont's profile to her around 5 minutes after that, after she posted the job, because he was great for the job. He was a perfect match for the role she needed filled. Through ZipRecruiter, Monica's company has hired everyone from project managers to accountants to field scientists, but Monica's not the only employer who loves ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself how ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. Try it now for free. That's free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bertcast. That's ZipRecruiter.com/BERTCAST. ZipRecruiter.com/Bertcast. This podcast is brought to you by Fiverr. The way we work together seemingly changed overnight. And if there's one thing we've learned, it's having access to the right resources is essential for adapting your business. 2020 not just sucks, it's been the year of uncertainty. So how can you plan your business around the unexpected? How can you plan your business plan around the unexpected? There's so much happening right now. Finding the right talent can be time-consuming, frustrating, and downright expensive. Fiverr's online marketplace connects businesses with freelancers offering hundreds of digital services, including graphic design, copywriting, web programming, film editing, and more. I need all of that. web programming, copywriting, graphic design. Graphic design has been one of the most difficult because you always need graphic design to announce a tour. And it's been tough because you put it out online and then people all go, oh, I got you. And then you're like, cool, how much? And then they know they got you bent over a table and they're like, $1,000. You're like, okay, I was thinking maybe more in the $250 range. And they're like, never mind. You're like, shit, that's the one I wanted. Look, whether you're launching your first business, scaling your current business, or in need of extra support just to complete a project, Fiverr's global network of on-demand freelance talent is here to help you find what you're looking for instantly. It's easy. Customize your search by either service, deadline, price, seller review, and more. No more guessing game. You know exactly what you're paying for upfront. No negotiated needed. That's what I love. And they also have 24/7 customer service, a network of quality talent you can count on. Freelancers have worked with some of the most influential brands in the world. Find freelancers that are ready when you are. Fiverr's platform is flexible enough to accommodate and manage the ebb and flow of business. Check out Fiverr.com and receive 10% off your first order by using my code Bertcast. Find all the digital services you need in one place at Fiverr.com with the code Bertcast. Again, that's Fiverr.com, code Bertcast, Fiverr.com, and use the code Bertcast. So wait, tell me, what's West Point like?
I was only there for like fucking a month. I was there quick, dude. I got out. Yeah, I hated it. I'm not a soldier at all. I just wanted to play football. And it turns out I didn't even want that. That sucked.
Were you there just for the hazing?
Yeah, I was there literally just for boot camp, and then I quit.
So tell me about boot camp, and then tell me about how hard is it to quit?
It's embarrassing to quit, but it's the easiest thing in the world to quit. Because
Really?
it's like, it's fucking boot camp, and all you have to do is say, yeah, I'd rather go home. And I mean, they make it difficult for you to quit. They try to keep you. They like you. You got to interview every single person.
Is it camp like Army boot camp? Like do they shave your head? Like what is it? I realize I have no frame of reference for any. I don't even know where West Point is.
West Point's it's a little north of New York City, like an hour north. It's the United States Military Academy. It's an officer training school, so it's purely it's the Army. It's boot camp. Now it's a little softer. It's a little easier because it's for officers. It's for dorks. It's for kids who got like really, really good SAT scores. You have to be smart. You got to get like a congressman to recommend you for the school. Like it's a very elite school. And so, I mean, it wasn't that physically demanding. Now, granted, I was like 300 pounds. I was playing offensive line. So boot camp's hard when you're a big guy. But you can just not do shit. And they're like, all right. It's great. Like, we go on like a 9-mile jog. Or I'd just be like, all right, I'm going to walk this stretch. And they'd just be like, all right, fine. Yeah, it's not like the Marines, dude. It was, you could do it. I remember doing push-ups and pretending I couldn't do anymore and just laying there. Dude, it must have been so obvious that just like, all right, this guy's definitely about to quit.
How many people are like how many people in your class are like, you got this, man. Come on.
Oh, everybody. I had teammates. I had like dudes I got recruited with that I was like starting to become good friends with. And I was like, never mind, dude. I'll never see you again. I'm out. Yeah. So I remember while I was quitting, this one kid, this black dude from Texas that played defensive end, that me and him were pals on our recruiting trips. And we were like, this will be cool. We're going to be friends, all this. And then he watched me quit. He was like standing at attention when I was walking out. And I genuinely remember him being like shaking his head while he was at attention. Like he was like shaming me. I was like, all right, have fun. Have fun going 4-8 and then going to Iraq.
Go to Iraq.
It's a tough way to end the season.
Yeah, you were going into high school. I'm trying to do the math, but September 11th must have been like right around that.
September 11th was, I think I was in 8th grade.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I graduated. I'm 32.
God, I'd love to be 32 again.
Which DeRosa brought this up when I was talking about the dosing. He was like, yeah, you're 32. If I was 32, I'd be like, yeah, that's a fun night.
Yeah.
And I was like,
when you're
maybe.
47, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
yeah.
Ari's almost 50.
Ari, in Ari's defense, he did not bring that weapon. You know?
Ari has
Lewis brought it to the table.
Definitely has more defense. If I was Lewis, I would feel very guilty about it because you're but you know what? I will tell you, I don't know if you noticed it, but Dave Attell left immediately.
Oh yeah.
The second that happened, he went, all right, I'm out. Fuck you guys.
Well, I saw he hated it. I told Jay that Ari got dosed because Jay was like, why is everybody laughing? And I was like, Lewis put acid in, which is, another Judas move because I knew it was in Jay's fucking drink. First, dude, I told him, I was like, Lewis put acid in Ari's beer. And Jay looked at me and goes, are we safe? And I was just like, oh, fuck, dude. I really just betrayed like one of my mentors. Like this guy helped me. Yeah, that was a tough one. That hurt. He literally like childlike, are we safe? Because Jay's such a he's like a sweet guy.
He's such a sweet
guy.
The
sweetest, nicest dude. And when he said, are we safe? I was just like, oh, fuck. It's like hurt me. This hurt my. But then I watched him tell Attell, like we were all laughing, and then he told Attell, and Attell was like, no. He just said no. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Now I'm thinking about it.
No makes sense in that situation.
Yeah, once there's like a 50-year-old, 60-year-old guy being like, no, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like, true.
I've always wondered, women, let me rephrase that because that's going to come out wrong. The internet makes it sound like sexual assault happens so often. And I will say in my 47 years that, by the way,
I'm glad you went back to the drawing board on that one.
Let me rephrase this. It makes
what was the first one going to be?
I'm fucking, God damn it. Maybe it's you, Shane. Maybe it's you. Maybe you bring this out with people. What I was going to say is it makes it sound like guys joke like, hey, I raped that girl. And then guys laugh. And like that's the common thing. And I will say I've often thought in college, I thought, how would I react if one of my friends told me they raped somebody? I've never heard anyone ever share a story that even sounded sketchy. I mean, even when I've called out people where I've been like, I've called people out and said, that sounds sketchy. It was always two black dudes running a train on a girl. And they were like, dude, it's cool. And I'm like, I don't find that cool. I find trains to be sexual assault personally. I can't imagine there's a woman that's like, no, that's what I want. Two dudes just fucking my mouth and my ass. And then high-fiving each other. I can't imagine there are women. I guess there's women out there that love it.
I think some women don't like it. I
can't imagine my wife would like it.
It happens to a lot of sports teams. A lot of college football teams get in trouble with that.
Yeah, and so
I think the girl says, "Yeah, never mind."
But I said, I always thought how I'd react when that happened. And then when someone told me that two guys told me they ran a train on a girl, I was a young comic in New York, and I didn't speak up, and I was very bothered by that. But by the way, everyone was laughing about it, and I was like listening, and I was like, I should say something. And then I'm like, where do my words go? To say that when you were 32, I was 26, and then you're like, it is a weird place to put a young man in. Is where you're like, I wanted to speak up and go, that sounded like it. And by the way, they said she was into it. From all accounts, there are women that are into it. I think if I had spoken up, I probably would have looked.
Yeah, there are whores.
I guess so.
There are whores.
There are women who I really can't. I mean, I understand is an old Patrice joke. Just so you know, ladies, two girls and a guy is a threesome. Two guys and a girl is a train. He's like, there's a big difference.
But it's cool to watch on the internet sometimes, so I can't shame him.
I can't, but you know what I think? I think what's wrong with me is I have a very like kind of like a basic sexual appetite. So like I can't I can't watch like blowjob porn. I'm like that. I'm just watching a dick. Like I don't know. Am I supposed to be turned on by a?
I fast forward. Yeah, I fast forward the blowjob. Yeah,
yeah. I'm like, what do you? And two guys. I'm like definitely not into. I'm like, what am I?
It's rough.
Yeah,
it's pretty ugly sometimes, especially with the dongs touch.
Oh, God!
They bump in. All right. What are we doing here? What happened? What topic are we on? No, you were explaining how women lie about sexual assault. Go ahead.
Not what I said.
That was what you were going for. And then I had to speak up. Listener, I'm sorry that Bert just did that. I had to speak up. That ain't right.
That's right. It's like, it's amazing that they can take anything out of context on a podcast now and make it sound like you said. And by the way, me and Segura did a bit where we said, it was called Take It Out of Context. And we just said horrific things that we had no attachment to back and forth to each other. And I know one day one of those is going to come up and be like, they said that. And we're going to have to be like, yeah, it was a bit. And
luckily, here's the thing. You guys have enough fans and you've put out work. So it'll be tough to cancel. It'll be tough to cancel you guys. I had nothing. I had no stand-up out. Nobody's really ever seen me do stand-up. And so nobody knows if I'm funny or not. So then when a clip like that comes out, everybody's just like, oh, well, that guy just sucks. He's like an edgelord who sucks. And, that's what happens. So when they take it out of context, like all of a sudden people were acting like that was my material. Like a clip that I got fired for. They were like, yeah, it's just not funny. It's like, yeah, I'm not saying it was the greatest thing ever. It was I was a average fucking conversational joke during a podcast. Like it wasn't some genius bit that I worked on that fucked up. Anyway.
No, it was all right. It was two guys fucking around on a podcast. I listened to the podcast. After it came out, I listened to it and I was like, it definitely was not a thought out bit. And it was like just fucking around. And by the way, if they could do that with any of us, they go through I was saying, I don't know how much shit I've laughed at that is now horrific, where you go 9 years ago, someone said something off color on a podcast that's really aggressive and I laughed at. And then you're just like, hey man, just, like that's a hate crime you laughed at. You're like, I didn't hear it that way at the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm working on it, but I don't think I give a fuck. It takes a lot to not care, really. But I especially when you were like, when I was just so close to things being pretty fucking cool. And it's gonna be harder. It's a lot harder to not give a fuck about like getting canceled and all that shit because they do hurt. Like I read comments and like articles that are like, racist guy, and it's like, oh, that fucking sucks. Like being see, this is what you're talking about, being candid.
Yeah,
I'm feeling myself starting to be candid, and I'm like, this sucks.
No, be candid, because I've done it my whole career, and I think people can empathize more with a person that's not being guarded and trying to present a brand to you. And like, if you just go, hey man, I say fucked up things and I fucked up and I'm not perfect and I have feelings that aren't a brand loyal to this like death squad fucking mentality. Like I'm just a regular person. But you were saying you read stuff.
Of course it affects you. And then of course, like it affects like relationships and like, dude, if I meet people and they Google me, like if you Google racist comedian, I come up. Like it's fucking wild. But that being said, there's still, and I hate to be the guy that's like, this is an art that I care about, because I understand what it is. It's us fucking around. But it's also like something that I care about. So not apologizing and being like, look, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep doing it. And hopefully it, I don't know. We've reached a point where all of a sudden we care. We're judging everybody on, like, I need to have a political platform now. It's like, what are we doing?
Oh my God. I had a rant. I did a rant in bed last night about what, like, I got into an argument with someone the other day saying, I don't spend time reading about politics because I don't know anything about politics and it doesn't interest me. It really isn't my interest, and nor should I.
And that's racist, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
That's your white privilege. That's your white privilege. You don't have to care.
Yeah, I'm certain it is. By the way, I used to say that I was the luckiest guy in the world. It just turns out I'm white. I was like, I thought everything's turning up roses.
Good things. God damn.
I mean, it's so crazy. I got pulled over. The guy let me go. Can you believe it? I'm the luckiest guy in town.
That's hilarious.
But I don't think people. Oh my God, Ari Shaffir's calling me right now. Should we take it?
Yes.
All right. Ari Shaffir, I am doing a podcast with your Vice President Shane Gillis right now.
Oh, great. Are you asking how he fucking destroyed Lewis? And how we're fucking the greatest politicians to ever rule anything, and we will be ruthless to anyone who runs against us.
No, we're well aware of that. We're talking about trying to have ownership with Dosing Jay. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, Lewis was pretty wrong to do that to him.
Yeah, that was fucked up. I did say Lewis brought the gun to the fight, dude.
Yeah, exactly. What they're talking about is these cops shooting unarmed people. And so I heard somebody, Sam Harris, somebody go, "No, cop has a gun. So once they're in a fist fight, there's a gun on the table. Nobody's unarmed." My point is, black people need to go away.
All right, it was good talking to you, Ari. I'll give you a call later, okay?
Have fun, you guys.
All right, bye. Yeah.
Well, what'd you think? What'd you think was going to happen?
He interview one time, someone was like, what do you think's going on with America? What do you think? And I mean, I remember watching it, and he was like, Ari, arms like this. He was like, violent revolution. We need to murder somebody. And you're just like,
yeah.
But I blame Hitler. I don't blame Ari. I blame Hitler. His dad went through the Holocaust. It must have been rough growing up with a Holocaust survivor. This is all Hitler's fault. So, in essence,
true. That is.
If you're gonna blame systemic racism, you gotta blame fucking Hitler.
Epigenetic trauma is what that's called. I looked it up.
Is it really?
Yeah. If your ancestors went through trauma, you have PTSD.
Ooh.
So, I don't know how real that is. In fact, I'm fairly certain that's bullshit. But it makes sense. It makes sense. One generation away.
Here's what I was going to say to you before Ari called.
Right. Sorry.
Here's what I was going to say to you before Ari called, and this is what I think is like the thing that I'm seeing is that America, Hollywood especially, but America loves a comeback story, and I really do believe that you're if you're gonna call it I don't think it was even canceling, but like it wasn't really that bad at all. Like what you did comparatively speaking to what people are doing and what people have done is so fucking, I mean, it was maybe at worst, if you're gonna really own it, it was insensitive, yeah. But it was two guys trying to fuck around about a premise that you wouldn't do now. You would probably go, maybe I'll rethink. I don't know, but it's like it's already happened, so you can't sit there and try to fight it.
Yeah,
all you can say is like that. I think it in the scope of things that have happened with when we've seen our peers get canceled, it definitely wasn't predatory. It definitely wasn't. It was insensitive at best. Ignorant. Yeah. If you want to say ignorant, you can take that, but like. It wasn't predatory. You weren't like saying and once again, I haven't heard this for like 2 years or whatever, but I think that is the thing that I think will be your story is your perspective comes from a place of, I really don't give a fuck. This is what I love to do. and I'm going to do this as good as I can and be better than most. And I will get you. And when you get a fan, I think people will go, I actually love that dude, man. He's, everyone loves a comeback story. They really do. Look at fucking Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson rules.
Mel Gibson is like, by the way, Apocalypto, you cannot deny that's one of the fucking best movies you've ever seen.
Apocalypto is so fucking good.
It's so good. And by the way, movies are, I always get subjective and objective wrong, but comedy is the opposite. Is like, you can't deny comedy. You laugh.
Comedy is subjective. Oh, wait, no. If you can't deny
I can't help myself from laughing.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I just can't. And I think that's what do you when you're on the other coast of it, when you hear about all these LA comics getting canceled and having gone through that process, what do you feel when you see that?
Well, first, selfishly, I do the thing internally where I'm like, oh, good, I didn't like that person for no reason. I don't even know these people.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. I keep that to myself. And then I really
some people don't, by the way. Some people don't. Like a lot of people just go online and just go, he was a hack anyway.
That's just your own ego. That's your own ego. That has nothing to do with them. I've never met anybody that's been like, all right, let's talk about D'Elia. I've never met him. I heard he murders. I personally thought it was comedy for hot chicks, but there's no, like, everybody that's been at the store, like Tim Dillon was telling me, he was like, guy fucking murders. So it's like,
it's like, I can use you as an example, but once you go, like with you, and I can say this because you're with me and you can defend yourself, but like, if I go, guys, it was a joke, then people will go, wait, it's explain the joke. And I'm like, well, it wasn't a great joke. Like, they were just riffing, like, and they're like, well, no, defend it. And you're like, okay, never mind. This is more work.
Hey, you got to go upstairs. What are you guys saying? No, I did not. Hold on. I'm fucking doing something. Sorry, I said the F word. That was my niece. Get. Sorry.
So like I was saying, so like with you, and I can say this because you're here so you can defend yourself. When it came out about you, I know you. So I was like, at first I was like, said something, and then all of a sudden, then you're like, they're like, defend the joke, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna. Hang on, I don't want to. This is more trouble than it needs to be. I don't. You know what? I don't really give a fuck. Like, and then they're like, you said on a podcast, and you're like, okay, I'm out. I don't
exactly.
And so I think that's what happened with D'Elia, is that like I read the first couple things, and then I was like, all right, man, you know what? I don't have any emotional attachment to this, and I can't involve myself, because if I get outraged and get drunk and write a tweet, then all of a sudden, I mean, you saw Neil Brennan wrote, like, he wrote, like, by the way, I think Neil Brennan tried to defend Chris, and it came out that he was attacking Chris.
Yeah.
And then everyone swarmed on Neil, and then everything Neil's ever done is subject for debate of like, so now let's also talk about you white splaining black culture to us. And you're like, and Neil's like, fuck this, man. Like, I don't feel like, and by the way, it is 10% of Twitter that's doing this.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's like 10%. It's like 10 fucking people. It's crazy. And it is scary. I admit it. And especially, like, you hear numbers like when the Chris stuff goes on, she goes, I had 240 emails within the next 10 minutes. And you're like, holy shit, there's no really quantifiable way to say that is true. So you just sit back and go, and that's, I mean, maybe it's that old adage, like, I didn't speak up when they came from the gypsies. And then, I was talking to Bert about it yesterday. I go, what ended the Red Scare, like, with McCarthyism? And Bert was like, it was an Edward Murrow speech. Have you no shame? And I was like, yeah, I don't think people really give a fuck about shame at all. Like, they're like, no, I don't give a fuck. Get rid of that guy. I don't like him.
you know?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's also, we're in this industry where, man, people are so happy to watch their fucking peers get brought down. Like, so happy. And
I've been witnessed it firsthand of people celebrating it. Like texts with
they celebrate it. They literally celebrate it.
It's so, and I think, and I know that there are, I mean, you got to be honest, there are young comics that look at this as an opportunity. They go, all right. So they do the math. They go, all right, Story used to have Joey, Joe, Callan, Schaub, and D'Elia. Those are 5 spots that have opened up now. 5.
Yeah, I might move spots out there.
Dude, I mean, there's 5 spots that have opened up at the store because they're all leaving, and there's more. By the way, there's 2 other fucking humongous comics are buying houses somewhere else. 2 other huge comics are leaving that haven't said anything yet that I know of, and then and Theo Vaughn's moving to Nashville. Like, so there's probably going to be arguably 10 spots open at the store. And if you're a young comic and someone's like, hey man, fucking, you know, David Spade, I don't even want to say anyone's name. That's how weird this is. I don't even want to say anyone's name because then everyone's like, wait, what do you know about him? Because that's the culture we're in.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's like with coronavirus. It's like if you get it, you can't get it again. You know, it's like a disease. So I already got I'm good. I'm immune. They can take nothing from me. I have nothing. Like it's very interesting to watch, and also it puts you in it gives me a position where I can actually speak up. You know, I can be like, hey, that's fucked up. That's weird. But also sometimes I feel like I'm not the right guy to do it. You know, like if somebody's getting in trouble, I think the last person they want on Twitter is for me to come out and defend them, and they'll be like, "Oh, look, the fucking racist guy likes you." You know,
it is a weird thing because if theoretically if there was like someone said someone acted inappropriate, the last thing you want is like Jeremy Piven going, hold on, I got this for you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take care of this myself.
Get this one out, but I appreciate it. Just text. By the way,
I feel bad even bringing Jeremy Piven's name into the mix because I know that he feels like he told Andrew Schultz that he's like he fell on the sword for everyone. And you know, once again, his was like, it's like allegations are definitely the fucking law. And I wonder what, you know, it's always, the one thing that shifts that no one saw, like no one saw that happening because we've changed the paradigm. And I wonder what that's going to be with this, where we're like, oh wait, I didn't mean that. I didn't know that was going to happen. Oh fuck, this is a game changer, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. It's all of a sudden we've gotten to a point where we're pretending all of us aren't very fucked up. Like where it's like you have to be a like morally correct person at all times in order to do comedy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I mean, you don't have to.
I think that to play devil's advocate, there is a code of conduct that I think that maybe wasn't super prevalent in. I was talking to someone about this the other day, but that there was a code of conduct that wasn't prevalent in like the early 2000s when it came to being a female in comedy, and guys maybe and I any that maybe guys didn't understand, guys didn't know. The Me Too movement reckoned that. All I'll say is I've never seen it. I've never seen anyone do anything inappropriate. But once again, I'm usually in and out of the clubs at the bar. Like I'm not, I've been married for 18 years. So like I'm the wrong guy to ask. I know Segura feels the same way. As like, we don't see guys taking their dicks out in the green room and being like, if you want to get on stage, you got to suck this dick. I don't see that, but I know it has happened. It has happened.
Yeah, I've heard those stories, but again, I started significantly later. Like I started, doing like shows in like 2000, 12 or 13, like, and then, Yeah, I haven't started doing clubs until like 2017. So like I've only been around the kind of the not woke, but like, I guess correct way to treat people. And so, yeah, I haven't witnessed it that much, but everybody that's been doing it for a long time has been like, yeah, it got a little rough.
And it's not fair for all of us, meaning, like I went and did the Comedy Store in London, and those guys were assholes to me, and they were bullying me, and they were trying to get in my head before I went on stage.
The British?
And yeah, what's that?
Bunch of British dudes were talking shit?
Yeah, the guys backstage, and they were fucking with me and trying to get in my head.
What were they doing?
I went backstage. I was supposed to do a guest set. We were filming for a documentary I was doing, and my management had gotten me a guest set at the store. So I was going to do 7 minutes, and I go back and they're like, and they wouldn't let me in the club. They wouldn't acknowledge me. They made me stand outside as they tried to figure it out. Finally, they figured it out, and they were like, yeah, you got like 5 minutes. And I thought I was going to do 7. They're like 5. And I was like, okay. And they're like, go backstage. They'll tell you what to do. And there were 3 comics that were just straight up cunts. They were like, all right, mate, going on the biggest stage of the world. Are you ready for that? Because I doubt y'all. American bullshit doesn't fly here. What are you going to do? Go and shit on the Yanks? That's what works here. I wouldn't do any of that fucking. And I'm just sitting there, and they're like 3 dudes. Mind the light, son. Mind the light, son. You mind the light, son, if you ever want to work here again. And in my head, I'm like, I don't really give a fuck to work here.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, you think I'm going to get on a plane and fly fucking 13 hours to get a spot? You're out of your fucking mind. I need to stay.
How long ago was this?
This was.
Were you at the store? Were you past at the store yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. All right. I was going to be like, damn, dude, you could have just been like, I'm at the real one.
No, yeah, but there's no affiliation.
Still, fuck them.
Yeah. And so, but I was an accomplished comic. I was a headliner. I had a TV show. I was headlining around the country, and I'd done a special, and they're like, all right, mate, mind the light. And they're trying to fuck with me. Oh, I'm gonna go up. What you gonna do? Like really fuck, like really not stuff you would never do to another comic. And the only person I remember that was there that did not say a word was the tape on his face. That fucking act where the guy puts tape on his mouth and goes,
yeah. That guy's from fucking England.
It was on America's Got Talent. Yeah. You don't get his accent much with the tape.
Yeah, I never heard his accent. Now that makes sense.
And so,
that's something. Yeah.
And so he went up before me, by the way, and he fucking murders.
Of course he does, dude. He's a fucking mime.
Yeah. And so he goes up, and they're like, all right, name again before I go on. And I'm like, Bert Kreischer. And they're like, no credits for you. No credits for you. Just gonna bring you up as a fucking yank. And you're like, oh, I really appreciate this, man. This is like such a cool experience. And they bring me up, this next guy, all the way over across the pond for this. Let's see if he can bring it. All right.
Why? Look,
keep going.
I've got a strong theory on this. That was basically their Apollo. All right. They were talking shit. It was a hostile, heated, because they don't have enough black people over there. So there's cliques of white people in England and Ireland that think they're the toughest. And it's very annoying, dude. They need to get some black people.
No, dude.
All right, never mind that bit. See, that was a missed bit. That's how that works.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sometimes you take shots.
You got to take.
Took a shot downfield. It was funny imagining that was the British Apollo, and it's like, yeah, this isn't as scary as what we have. Stop.
Right before I went on stage, I said, do I have to turn the mic on? And the guy goes, are you being serious? And I said, no, will it be on when I get on there? And he goes, yes, it's on. The whole thing's on. Oh, my God. And now they think they've got a rube on their hands. I go out, and I will say, in my defense, I fucking ripped that room for 7 minutes. I did 7 minutes. They can suck.
Hell yeah.
I'll never go back there again. I ripped the room, and I get off stage, and all 3 of these cunts are sitting on a mattress, on the couch, and they're like, one of them says, all right, guess you've done this before. And I was like, yeah. And I just walked out. I was like, fuck this place. Suck my dick. Fucking. And I know that's not indicative of the Comedy Store in London. It's not. It's a beautiful club. It's run by great people. Great comics are in there day in and day out. But the run I had, and I'm saying this to like, not to like defend all male comics, but like the run I had was I had to deal with 3 cunts. So I'm sure that women have dealt with a lot of cunts in their life that are assholes. Yeah. And I know that I've said things. I know that I've said things bringing a woman on stage one time. I said something about Janine Garofalo that was not, by the way, this is when I was young, and I'm a huge Janine fan. But I remember saying, hey, like seeing her name and going, hey, we got a woman coming on stage. And that is not how you're supposed to do that. This is fucking 15 years ago, 16 years ago. And I'm like, hey, you know, I'm a young comic. That shit happens too, as young comics don't know how to interact.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Never mind.
No, it's
I was about to like me too myself. I did some fucked up shit early on. Just, there's one bitch, I held her down in the green room.
Dude, I had Ryan Dalton come off stage one time. And by the way, I put this online. I had to take it down because Travel Channel didn't find it appropriate. But I had videotaped him coming off stage and me just having my pants around my knees. And that's dude to dude. I thought showing your dick to your friends was the funniest joke in the world. It
is a funny joke. Don't let them take this from us.
If we start Me Tooing each other, that's when we've lost this battle.
True.
By the way, I don't mean lost this battle like we're fighting Me Too. Me Too is a great movement.
No, Jesus you did Christ. Say it. If the cameras weren't on, he would have said it like that. You guys should have seen it before we started recording. He was like, look, I'm going to go pretty heavy-handed on those Me Too cunts. And I was like, all right, man, you can do whatever. I got in enough trouble, but I don't know if you should. And then he did it, you know?
It's funny because it's like, I feel stupid saying this, but I really am someone who tries to learn. Like where I go, I want to learn because sometimes my initial thought isn't right. So like I remember the one that hit me the hardest was yes all women. Do you remember that hashtag?
Yeah.
And it was like, and then immediately every guy was like, no, not all men. And I was like, yeah, not all men is my head. And the one that Jen Kirkman wrote that changed my fucking perspective was, yes, all women are terrified when they order a pizza. And I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck? You're getting a pizza. What are you scared? You're going to choke and eat it by yourself? And then I said it to Leanne, and Leanne goes, oh, no. It's absolutely terrifying when a man comes to your house and goes, small pizza for one? And you're like, yeah. And he's like, looks over your shoulder and he's like, you in here by yourself? And she's like, it's terrifying. And I was like, oh, fuck, I bet that is terrifying. And then she was like, and then the thing that shifted everything was like, when the Me Too thing happened.
I will say, if you're ordering a fucking small pizza by yourself, you're probably not the hottest lady. So you probably don't have to worry about it, actually.
Get it? Just a salad. Jesus Christ. Or at least order like 2 larges and be like, hold on, everybody.
Yeah, hold on, jacked men.
Put your guns away. Jesus Christ. Stop doing push-ups. He's here. The one thing when Louis got in trouble and I said, but they said yes. I was saying that to my wife. She goes, yeah, because he's like twice their size. And I was like, what? And she goes, let me ask you something. If who's the MMA fighter that has a sword? Brock. She goes, oh, you've heard me say this before, Halston. She goes, if Brock Lesnar and you were in a hotel room, he's like, hey, do you mind if I jack off? You'd be like, oh, I'm cool with it. And then you leave that room and go, oh, I can't believe I'm still alive. And I was like, oh, well, good point.
That's a decent point. It's a decent point. But that's just assuming fucking Louis would be prone to, he's going to fucking physically assault someone if they were like,
I don't think
no
Louis
thanks.
That. I don't think Louis personally.
I know he does. Well, obviously you can't say I know anymore. But I don't think that guy would ever do that.
My experience with Louis has always been that he's been a very sweet guy. But yeah, you know, and it's interesting. I think
you know what? It's time for us to ignore our personal interactions with people and fully rely on gossip we hear on Twitter. So it's like, yeah, maybe I can trust him as a person when I've been out and hung out with him, but I did read this fucking tweet about him, so fuck him.
That is really interesting, is that, you do have a really interesting perspective, Shane, because that is how people treated you. They're like, yeah, I met him. I never saw him to be racist. And then people are like, but I guess he's just racist. And you're like, yeah, no, I've treated everyone the same. Like, what are you talking about?
I'll tell you what really happened. No, I've definitely done racist shit. I have. Like, I've been, dude, get hammered at an open mic. It's a mixed race fucking group of comedians. Sometimes I get too comfortable and think we're all fucking good friends, or these are my friends from home, or shit like that, where I can say anything. Now, it's not like I'm fucking out there screaming the N-word or something, but you get too comfortable, you say something stupid, but I don't know, is that something that should then therefore make me literally a bad person? I don't know. That's up to you. If you're a psycho and want to hold people to those standards, you can. But here's what happens, and it happens every single time, is I started to get in trouble. Immediately, every fucking comic in Philly that hated me tweeted paragraphs about awful shit I'd done. Dude, there was one guy that was like, he outed one of our fellow comics on stage at an open mic, who he left out the part that was one of my very good friends, and we were fucking around. There's people that were like, I heard he was creepy to women, which is like, I don't think I've ever talked to a woman in a green room. I don't talk to any. I'm not trying to get fucking laid before I go on stage. No, like, that's insane. But like, it's just once you get that, like, the green light over your head where everybody's allowed to shit on you, and they'll fucking walk. If you're allowed to shit on people publicly, you'll do it, and that's what everyone does. It's the same reason, like, everybody on the left calls fucking Mike Pence gay. Like, that's a joke to make fun of a guy for being gay. He's not gay, but they use it as an insult. They're like, yeah, Mike Pence, I heard that guy's fucking gay. And it's like, you're allowed to make fun of him, so you're allowed to, like, does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I've never found...
If you feel like you have the moral high ground on somebody, you can publicly just destroy them and say, you can use, like, homophobia against them, which is what they do to Pence. Or you can be like, yo, fucking Donald Trump's a retard. And it's like, I don't know if you can say retard, but if you're making fun of him, you can, sure. It's like, I don't know. No. I don't know.
I'd like to thank my sponsor, Whoop. Look, as a listener of the podcast, you know a lot about a lot. I know that because I'm a listener of podcasts. In general, we all listen to the same shit. You know the insides of everything. But did you know enough about yourself? Whoop is the 24/7 health and fitness tracker designed to change just that. It monitors critical daily metrics like recovery, sleep, and strain, and it's personalized to your baseline so you can know when you're improving on fitness, when you're falling behind, and when it's time to rest. With all the stresses in the world happening in our lives, this is the best time to monitor your health on a deeper level. I know for a fact I am personally doing that because of COVID, and I am overweight, and I want to make sure that I'm getting enough rest. Look, whether you're looking to know how your body is recovering or how hard you should train the next day, or for me, how well you slept, Whoop provides those insights in real time with their built-in app features. Today, Whoop is helping workers, universities, and pro athletes all stay healthy while returning to work and sports. This has been the best fitness tracker of my life. I use the Strain Coach every day I work out. The sleep coach tells me how much sleep I need, and I wake up, the first thing I do is I check my sleep out. Those are my sleep stats. By the way, I just slept like shit last night. I was at 33%. But look at all that green in the week. And by the way, I was partying this week. That first yellow, I wasn't drinking. All those greens are when I was drinking. That's interesting. Whoop even has a built-in Strain Coach, which I use, which actually gives you an optimal target exertion goal for your workouts based on what your body's signaling that it can handle. So if you're at home or on the road like I am training and you don't have someone to coach you through it, it's the perfect feature for that. And based on how strenuous your day is, the app then tells you how much you need to sleep with the sleep coach. It tells you when you can wake up and be recovered based on your performance goals, all which you can set. For my listeners, Whoop is offering 15% off with the code BERT at checkout. Go to Whoop, WHOOP.com, Whoop.com, and enter the code BERT at checkout to save 15% off. Trust me, You will love this damn thing, and you will never take it off. Sleep better, recover faster, and train smarter. Optimize your performance with Whoop. Now is the time to celebrate. Football is finally back, and DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, has millions of reasons why you should be excited. To kick off the football season, DraftKings is giving new users a free shot at $1 million top prize. A $1 million top prize with a total of $3 million up for grabs for this Thursday's football contest. Get in on Thursday night's single game showdown is easy. All you have to do is go download DraftKings using the promo code BERT. Draft 6 players from the season opener, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. So head to the app right now to start making it rain. Is that how you spell rain? That's interesting. Plus, new users who sign up today on DraftKings using the code BERT will receive a free shot at the $1 million top prize with your first deposit. Nothing adds to the sweat of watching a game like having a shot at $1 million payday. Download the DraftKings app now. Use the code BERT. For a limited time, new users can get a free shot at the $1 million top prize and $3 million in total prizes. Don't miss this extra special 1-week bonus. Enter the code BERT to get a free shot at the $1 million top prize with your first deposit. That code is BERT at only DraftKings. Only at DraftKings. Make it rain. By the way, minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. I said to my dad, I said, hypothetically saying, what if someone accused you of something, sexual misconduct, and you were innocent? What's the course of action? Because Leanne and I was in the pool, and Leanne was like, how would you behave if someone accused you of something that you didn't do? I said, I'd go on the attack. I'd get a private investigator. I'd sue immediately. Yeah. I'd sue the Los Angeles Times. I'd find out why this happened to me. I'd get a private investigator to find out why they're attacking me. And she goes, just for shits and giggles, call your dad and tell him that, like, what you do. And I called my dad, who's a lawyer, and I said, so here's what I do. And he goes, all right, first off, you don't have enough money to sue the LA Times. That's it, first and foremost. He goes, it's going to cost you $3 million at least. And I said, okay. And he goes, secondly, you're not going to win. Third, he goes, that it's their job to make sure they're not liable. Trust me. Like, they are not liable. And I said, no, but the allegations are wrong. And he said, okay, now let's say you have just offered yourself out to the world to say, if anyone's got any dirt on me, please deliver it now, because I am and you're like, holy fuck. You're like, fuck all this, man. Like, and my dad goes, the thing you do is just shut your mouth and hope it goes away, because there is no recourse. Like, there is no fighting it. And you're like, God damn it, man. And then, you watch one guy come out, make a statement. You might watch another guy stay quiet. You're like, what's the right answer? Because neither of them seem accurate.
I don't know about those type of allegations there, but in my case, it was like, there's no fighting it. There's no fighting it. You're just like putting an allegation out like that. It's done. The damage is done. It's like Dalia. The damage is fucking done. If it turned out, like if somebody looked it up and looked into it and investigated it and turned out Chris D'Elia did nothing wrong, the damage is fucking done regardless. Like, that's how these things work. Like, the guy being on the LA Times, that's the case is closed, dude. Yeah. That was it. That was the trial. He's guilty by just being front page. I mean, there's no fighting it.
Did you have to talk to your family about it when it happened?
They supported me. They know who, they were, for the most part, they thought it was pretty funny until it was funny. Everybody in my hometown was like, holy fuck, dude, nice. Like, everyone was like, you're number one on Twitter. This is crazy. It was funny because everybody was cool with it. And then I did a joke about how, like, Trump would be the funniest president to see he'd be the funniest assassination. Like, he's the funniest president. It would be the funniest assassination. And Fox News a reporter was in the audience recording it. Lewis is calling. Fuck him. And they sent it to Fox News, and Fox News was like, comedian says it'd be funny if Trump got shot. That's when my dad turned, because my dad's a fucking Fox News guy. He was like, what are you doing making fun of the president? I was like, all right. You fucking loser. No, everybody, my family's cool with it. The one that hurt me was my niece. My niece was getting bullied, I think, a little bit for it.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's where it starts to get like, and like, you know, my mom was proud for the first time. And then that got, and it's the same thing as like people that don't like you celebrating when you fuck up. It's the same thing at every single level of how many people you know. So like my mom going around for like 3 days being like, my son's going to be on Saturday Night Live, and kind of tossing it in some fucking lady's face whose son's a loser. She was probably like, yeah, fuck that bitch. I'm glad her racist son got destroyed.
That's so crazy. Yeah, like it's funny too, because it's interesting now that, you know, my bus driver is a black dude, and one of my closer friends.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. You know, well, it's.
Oh, I forgot you had a tour bus. I was like, you're bragging about like your local city bus driver being black. It took me. I was like, damn, you take the bus?
But his perspective has, and I think black people's perspective in general has always been, yeah, all white people are racist. So it's interesting to like, I don't think they mean all white people are walking around lighting crosses.
Yeah.
But I think they're saying, yeah, there's this institutionalized racism that you're even unaware of. So it's like, in a weird way, like he'll say things to me where I will, it's amazing. I've had black dudes I've been friends with, but never one that I came at from like two grown men from very different walks of life who, you know, and despite the fact that he is technically my employee, he has no problem challenging me on just about any fucking. The other day he told me to pick up arms and take a side because the race war's coming, and if he's not on, if I'm not on his side, he knows where my family lives. So
that's good. I hope this guy fucking kills you.
It's been interesting to have a fucking friend that is willing to be fucking really candid with you about his feelings and about, you know, and where you can get, you know, one of the things I love about it is you can get into a heated conversation with him, but you're good at the end because you're not mad. You just, that's how you talk. But it is, racism is such a weird thing that people throw around because everyone's guilty of it to some extent. And then they say, but he did it. And you're like, yeah, but hold on. You've never done it? Like you've never done anything sideways where you're just like clutched your pearls or clutched your purse or fucking Karen to somebody. Like, and you know, it's so fucking interesting because now you see the levels of racism that you see are real, genuine. Like genuine. Yeah. When I see people go back to your country, I'm like, who the fuck says that? Like, I understand Sarah Silverman making a joke on Conan about Asian people. I get it. Her attempt is to make people laugh. But someone who's like, go back to your fucking country. I cannot defend that. I go, I'm sorry. I'm like.
Well, here's how you defend it. There are fucking a ton of really, really dumb motherfuckers in this country. And you got to be pretty fucking dumb to say, go back to your country to somebody. You know, you'll see videos online of like, lady screams the N-word. It's just a fucking like a homeless lady on a bus. It's like, all right. But I'm not downplaying race. But that's usually how the answer to how you can be that ignorant. Now, don't get me wrong. Smart people can be racist. But we're going to, I don't know where I'm going with this.
No, it's a tough, by the way, we're in just tough territory for two white guys because everything we say sounds subject to. And it also, you know, because if you're thinking about the scrutiny, then you're not being honest, and then you're gonna end up saying, you know, like I just backpedaled towards the end of that statement. Like you're gonna start backpedaling. You got to backpedal on everything you say. But yeah, the racism thing is like, here's something that I thought was interesting. So like I'll be seeing things about like, you know, there'll be a tweet or something about new SNL, or like if you're a new cast member, make sure you delete everything you've ever done. If you're looking to have a career in this, make sure you delete everything you've ever done. So it's almost like
everybody knows everybody has bad things. And if you get caught, then you're a bad person. But if you delete it, you're not a bad person.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a very public acknowledgement that public perception is the only thing that matters. Where it's like, oh, sure, I think almost every white person has said the N-word. But if you say it on, if somebody secretly records you and says it, now you're the worst guy I've ever met in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And
I had an instance where on my first television show, I was very insecure. Beyond insecure that I wasn't going to do well. And I was trying to make everyone laugh and cracking jokes like the whole time, thinking the cameras were on the whole time, not realizing, like just trying to get my energy up and like,
sure.
And I'm probably saying a lot of off-color stuff as well. But one of the things I said was at the end of the day, the first day, I couldn't get a read through. And I had a couple beers at the end of the day, not knowing we had a read left. And then we went and did the read. And I had a few beers. And I said, this is why you don't get drunk before you're done your day work. And my sound guy, Eric Beanie, pulled me aside. He goes, hey, man, just so you have to be aware, there will always be a mic on you for the rest of your life. So you need to be aware of what you're saying because you've been really loose today and I've been cutting your mic out. But there are sound guys that won't protect you, that will let it play and let it, especially if they don't like you, they'll let it go to the production company and you will lose a job. And he was like, I got you. I'm covering you, but you need to be aware of that. And Beanie was this guy that kind of taught me you're always being recorded. So I've been at dinner parties where, and by the way, I have a very diverse group of friends, but where people are speaking open and honestly about race. Dude, when in those situations, I don't know if this is good or bad, but I always think a neighbor's recording us. I always think
that's bad.
A neighbor is recording us because I've gotten this mindset of like, you're always being recorded. You're always being listened to. You're always being like,
I think I hear you. I hear you on that. And I think it comes from, number one, always recording. I mean, you're talking hours of podcasts, and then you do the thing where after the podcast, at least I do, where there's this anxiety for like at least an hour where I'm like, fuck, I wish I hadn't said that N-word Bucks joke, that I just did. That was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It was funny, but I'll feel bad about it for like an hour. I'll be like, fuck. And then I was thinking of this the other day where it's like, it's starting to blend together where I'm like, did I say that on a fucking podcast? Like I'll be driving and be like, damn, that was fucked up. I hope I didn't say that publicly. I don't know. It bleeds in. It's been bleeding in slowly this whole year. It's only been a year of me being somewhat known. And it's only been 1 year and I'm still feeling that. Actually, wow, that's pretty funny. I think today, 1 year ago, it was either today or tomorrow, I auditioned for SNL 1 year ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
I haven't.
It was cool.
I got to be honest with you. SNL's kind of taken this leap of like celebrities. It's a celebrity sketch show.
Yeah. For sure.
The kids on it aren't getting enough play, in my opinion.
I agree.
I think it's a disservice to comedy to just have all the celebrities come on and just hit him. And by the way, some of them are pretty good. You're like, wow, that's really fucking awesome. And then and then I don't know. And I think that the men are never really, I've never really been a big fan of the men on the show. I was with Farley and Spade and those guys. But man, the women on the show are just, they're fucking murderous.
I think they really shifted to a women-centric show. I think it was like Will Ferrell, like right before Will Ferrell, kind of like there was some really good ones, and then Tina Fey and Amy Poehler and them. So it's definitely. I'm personally not SNL's fucking target audience at all. So
yeah,
it's not. The show's not really for me.
I'm not. My wife and my daughters love it. Like they'll watch.
That makes sense.
They'll watch the sketches. They love it. And by the way, I love it. I'm like obsessed with like 3 of the performers on there. I think they're fucking amazing. Yeah. Like,
Weekend Update fucking rules. Yeah. SNL's cool, but it's I'm not gonna fucking be like, all right, I want to laugh. What should I watch?
Yeah. I'm not gonna watch it.
Be like, yeah.
It's interesting.
That's been tough. That's been tough for me not to like. I've been really trying to avoid like ever shitting on SNL because then it just looks like I'm just being a bitter pussy. Because I would have taken it. I very happily would have been on that show.
Oh yeah,
So,
all of us. I mean, it was. I thought that would be my path. I didn't know that I'd get into stand up the way I did. I thought I'd get up to New York, I'd get on SNL, I'd get on MTV, I'd be a VJ, I'd party hard. I don't think I had like a game plan.
Partying.
I got the partying in.
My game plan. I just listened and saw clips of like O&A and The Cellar, and then Louis, and then I was like, all right, that's what I want, which ended up being exactly what I got. Like that trajectory of like stand up New York comics versus I never assumed SNL, and that's probably why I fucking got it.
I didn't know.
I don't care.
I didn't know that people did the road. I didn't know that New York. I didn't know what comedy was. I really honestly thought when I got to New York, I'd been in Rolling Stone. People were going to be like,
"Oh yeah,
hey, man,
yeah.
How about like we give you $600 and you just a night and you do stand up every night and you just figure it out." And I was like, I'll be into that. I remember like being such a phony when I got up to New York that I mean, such a phony. It's so crazy. Like what a fucking fake I was. And now I look back and I go, like I was obsessed with Adam Sandler's comedy album.
Yeah.
And I love like that the guy in right field, the fucking janitor
was that on that one?
It was, that was on there. It was Medium Pace was on there, like all the songs, and I played the guitar. So me and my buddy Eddie went and scouted studio space to do an album. But we had no money. Like we had no money. And we thought, we thought somehow someone was going to go, hey man, why don't we just give you the space and then we'll produce it. We just thought, I don't know what we even thought. Like, And there was so much
probably fun. It was probably fun telling people, hey, we're looking for a studio.
It was because you had nothing.
Probably felt cool being like, just checking out some studio space. Not a big deal.
Yeah. And I mean, we went and met with an improv group and auditioned them. Like it was just
God.
It was like we met with an improv group and then Eddie had met them and then he was like, hey, I want to introduce you to them. They're really cool. And then I kind of sat with them and then kind of auditioned them to be a part of my group that I didn't have. It was just so fucking full of shit of putting as opposed to doing the work. I thought the work was horseshit. I thought the work was to do all the bullshit. My dad was the one that called me on that and was like, you're full of shit. You're not doing anything. I mean, I told people I was a comic so much and I had barely gotten on stage. I mean, it was
a lot of people that start are psychos.
I remember I was telling someone the other day, I was like, Russ Maneve, I must have said this on a podcast. I was looking at an apartment and I think the broker was showing me the apartment and he goes, oh, my roommate's a comedian. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, Russ Maneve. And I remember thinking, God, I would love to get to the place where someone said, my roommate's a comedian and it was true. And they go, his name's Bert Kreischer. And it was true. I'd be on a plane and I'd be like, I'm a comedian. And they'd be like, oh, where do you work? And I'd be like, around New York. Like, I'd just be like, fake it till you make it type shit.
Of course.
And it's amazing that you go, that at that time, my only goal was like, just get on. I just wanted to learn how to get on stage. I didn't even know how to do stand-up. The idea of getting on stage was so fucking hard. You paid $5 to get on stage. You could not call yourself a comedian if you were paying to get on stage.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, everybody, once you start comedy, you tell everybody you know, like, yeah, I'm a comic. I'm a comedian. They're like, where do you perform? It's like Boomerang's Bar and Grill in New Cumberland. It's like, I go up and black out for 5 minutes. Just adrenaline, not even booze. I black out for 5 minutes and bomb once a week.
Oh, I mean, I had a bomb my second time on stage in New York that was so bad. My cousin and my sister wouldn't look at me in the cab on the ride back to the apartment. They were like, it was silent.
God, that's scary.
And they peeled off. I've told this before. They peeled off.
Holy fuck.
They peeled off the cab sticker of, like all the subways and the streets on the back. They used to have stickers.
Yeah.
They peeled it off to like keep themselves occupied so they didn't have to look at me, and then placed it. I brought a guitar on stage with me, placed it on my guitar case. And that is the very last time I ever brought a guitar on stage.
Wow.
I brought a guitar on stage, and the second I pulled it out and got on, everyone stared at the guitar going like, so when are you going to play that? When's that going to happen? Like, and then no one heard one of the jokes I wrote, and I bombed. And by the way, if you had recorded that bomb and posted it online, it would have ruined my career.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that too, which, people are always like, yeah, you should post more clips. It's like, I don't know. I might still suck. I don't know if I want to put those out just yet.
Might still suck.
I might still suck. I don't know.
How long have you been doing stand-up?
Probably about like 10 years. But the first couple years I was, fucking around.
Yeah.
Last like 5 or 6 years I've taken it very seriously.
And what's your plan with like post-pandemic? Are you going to stay East Coast?
Yeah, I'll stay in New York. I still like once the clubs open up in however the fuck long that is, like a year and a half. But I'm still doing the road. Like I've been doing the road like this whole time.
Really?
Yeah, kinda.
So where you at? Where you at coming up?
Although shows get canceled all the fucking time. Like last weekend I was supposed to be in Baltimore and it got canceled. Like day of. This I'm in Wise Guys in Salt Lake.
Oh, I love that place.
First weekend of September, then Phoenix House of Comedy the next weekend, then Minnesota House of Comedy.
Oh, those are great bookings.
So for the next 3 weeks, yeah, I'm going to go to Stanhope's in between Salt Lake and Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, you went and partied with Stanhope.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about that experience.
You've been there. You would handle it well. I handle hangovers like a bitch, and I like drinking. I drink too much, but I was there for probably like a month.
But you were there for a month?
Yeah, I drove. So all right, during this whole quarantine, I was on the road when it started. So I was in Florida when it started. I was supposed to do South by Southwest the next week, and it got canceled. So I was like, fuck it. I haven't taken a vacation in 2 years. I might as well fucking stay in Key West. And then I ended up kind of getting trapped down there.
Really?
So then I didn't want to fly back to fucking New York City. You had driven down to Florida. You had driven down to Florida, right? Flew down to Florida.
So then you go down to Key West. How fucking great is Key West? I love Key West.
I loved it. Yeah, Key West fucking rules. Although I thought there'd be beaches. I didn't know it was like all rocks.
It's all rocks.
So that was like, I'd only done the weekend, and I was like, damn, I'll spend a week at the beach. This will be fucking great. They're like, bars are closed. I was like, all right, I'll just hang out at the beach. They're like, oh yeah, we don't have beaches. We just have rocks. I was like, all right, I'll fucking drink in a hotel room for a week by myself and look at the water. So I did that, and then rented a car and drove to South Carolina. I was just renting Airbnbs. They were so cheap. Everybody canceled all their beach houses. So I was just renting, like I stayed at Hilton Head, like a beachfront Hilton Head house for like 2 weeks. It was fucking great. Lake house in Virginia, and then I drove out for a month. I drove across the country to stay at Stanhope's, which was cool.
Did you know Doug before then?
Just through text. Never fucking met him in life, in real life.
Via the SNL shit? Is that when he reached out?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I did a show with him. Never mind. I did a show with him after the SNL thing. And then I went out and hung out with him.
Try to explain if you can what that experience is like, because I know what it is like.
Now I got quarantine Doug. All right. So
Okay.
we did stay at his place, at his bar. I mean, we would drive around, we would do some, but I was living there. Like, I was like, also Doug's a sweetheart. Like, every day, he would make me breakfast every day and like wait till I got up because I was sleeping in because we were out drinking. Like, he's that type of guy. And then, I don't know how to explain it. Just drinking every way. And he's a comedy legend. So like, you want him to like you, and I'm new. So like every once in a while we'd get drunk and I'd be like, oh, fuck, Doug hates me. So then that hangover would be horrific for like the next day. I'd be like, fuck, what did I say to Doug? And then, there was like fires. Okay. There was just a lot of chaos. It's kind of a blur. And then they cut my hair. I had like they shaved like the sides of my head. It's a group of carnies that live in the desert is how I would describe it.
Yeah. And it's
I don't know how to describe it.
I loved it. I
love it. Bisbee is amazing.
I'm thinking about doing a fall tour and I was thinking about leaving early, getting everyone COVID tested, leaving early and staying down there for 2 days before we start the tour. But I don't know if we'd be able to finish the tour.
Yeah, truthfully, I'm worried about
start a tour.
Exactly. That's of this 3-week stretch I'm about to do. That's after the first weekend is staying at Doug's for like 4 days. And it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just opening up with a bender at Stanhope's. It's a tough open.
My last day at Stanhope's, I said to myself, is my last day at Stanhope's. The last time I was there, I was like, I'm not coming back here. This is not meant for my constitution. We had partied a bunch that weekend. I don't really remember much of the weekend, but I know that I had gone there once and just spent one night, like less than 24 hours. And that was the perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
Tucson, Shaley picks you up, takes you down, partied all night, woke up, and then that was the weekend Bingo ran away. I don't know if you remember that. She got up early, woke me up, and got me in a car and took off and said, I'm running away. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh. And then, so I left on like a buzz of like, called Doug at the airport. And I was like, just, Bingo ran away. Like, I don't know what I should do. It was like, and there was like a
Bingo got out. By the way, Bingo got out.
Yeah. Bingo.
I left the gate open. Bingo's out. She's out, dude.
So then I was like, I kind of left on a high going like, that was a crazy fucking weekend. I came back the next time. I don't remember what it was for. My wife was like, my wife loves Doug. My daughters love Doug. And my wife was like, I've been working a lot. She's like, you need like a guy's weekend, but I think you should just go to Stanhope's on your way home. Stop by Stanhope's, go there for like a long weekend. And it started sketchy in that they were all at a hotel at the airport. And I remember going like, huh. And he's like,
what are they doing, dude?
And I remember Doug was, and this is the beauty about Doug, is you can say anything about Doug and he's cool with it. Like you can tell any of his truths. Doug's like, I'll drive. And he's finishing a beer. And I looked at him and he saw me look at him drinking a beer and he goes, I'm just calming the nerves. And I was like, okay. So we get to his house and then it was on like 2 nights in a row. And then we had one day off and we went to one of their houses and went to the pool and we were drinking champagne and drinking vodka. And I was blackout drunk by like 7. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go pass out. And they put me in one of the trailers. I think it's called the rape trailer.
Yes.
And I woke up at like 2 a.m, not feeling good, like shaky, like going, okay, I've had too much sugar. This isn't good for me. And I did not go back to sleep. I had panic attacks. Lynn Shawcroft was there and accidentally ate way too many edibles and was rambling to herself in the center, like just talking organizing pillows. And I was like, okay.
That's terrifying.
And then you start saying stuff like, hold on, I'm a father. Like, I'm a grown up. Like, I got fucking, what am I doing here? Like, what am I doing? I love Doug, but this is not my path. And then Doug sees that I'm not doing well. And he's like, hey man, if you're having a hard time, go make yourself a cocktail. Like, we're gonna go drive to the airport. We were both flying to LA, and he was like, make yourself a cocktail. Do you want a smoothie? And I was like, I could really use a smoothie. I'm really weird about rules, like about drinking. I have weird rules that don't make sense to anyone else. So I was like, I don't want to drink yet. I knew I was going to drink at the airport, but I didn't want to drink yet. And so I was like, I'll take a smoothie. And so he's like, made me a smoothie. And we get in the car. None of us are talking. My stomach's just in knots. I don't feel good. We get to the airport. He gets me a drink. I go to the bathroom and I shit blood, like tons of blood. And I'm like, oh my God. And I come out with like a white sheet look on my face. And Doug's like, what's the matter? And I said, I just shit a toilet full of blood. And he was like, did you? And I said, I did. And he goes, or was it that beet smoothie I gave you? And I went, oh my God, you gave me a beet smoothie. I was like, oh my God, thank God. He goes, that cut through me too. The same thing happened to me. And I was like, oh my God. And then that energy, we started drinking at the airport, got on the flight, drank all the way to LA, laughed. And I was like, all right, I'm going back one more time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. Well, I agree that it is like when I was leaving there, I was like, I felt like that took years off I was there for a month.
That's a long time to be there.
That was like it took me a month. I went back to my parents' house after that. And it took me like a month of like just going home, fucking living here. But I'm ready. I'm ready to take it on again.
What's quarantine
with the right
Doug
mindset?
Like? What's quarantine Doug like?
Well, I don't know. I don't really know regular Doug as far as going out, going to bars. He was pretty strict about it. They took it very seriously, but I really didn't. So
you didn't?
I didn't really. No. I mean, I started. It comes and goes how serious I take it.
Well, I looked at the Legion of Skanks. I was like, how is not every one of those people getting COVID?
Yeah, that's a risk. I avoided then. I stayed inside with a mask
passing around
on.
the same joint. Lewis is going around knocking menus off tables. I'm like looking at it going, no one's wearing masks. Like, we're so strict on tour that we're like this is not, like we're
clubs
I'm
too.
What's that?
Like, comedy clubs are very strict when I'm at them. But the Legion of Skanks is not. I don't know. Well, all their fans are Legion of Skanks fans are wild.
Legion of Skanks fans are ride or die motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They're the best fans you could ever have because they will support you your entire career. I think they're cool with me. I don't think they're like, I think they look at me like I don't go hard enough. I'm not honest enough. I'm not raw enough. And I'm cool with that. Like, I don't like, I think I get
there's a certain level of honesty that you don't need to have.
Yeah. I'm cool with some secrets. I always get emotionally feelings when I see a guy on my show that's got that Legion of Skanks sweatshirt on. I always go, oh, cool, man. Like, okay. Yeah. Like, I feel like I got some street cred to me. But
hell yeah.
But I've been to those fucking skank fests where you're like, oh my God, like this is in fucking sanity. Yeah. Like it really is chaos. It is chaos comedy. It is do it. Eat a fucking bag of hair. And you're like, what? Eat a bag of hair. You're gay. Do it. And you're like, wait, what the fuck?
I kind of wanted to do stand up, but all right. Yeah.
I tried to do stand up at one of the Skanks Fest, and it was like drink, fucking drink. And I was like, I can do that also, guys.
Yeah, it's more. I love Skank Fest, but it's definitely more of a hang. Doing the show itself is always like, it sucks. I'm at home right now. My dad just came down and is just on the phone. I want to fight this. My niece and sister came down earlier and I was like, no. And they just kept walking towards me. I was like, no, please. Like, the whole time I was like, I don't want to disrupt the show and say something. But
no, I don't care.
And like right now, I'm just looking at I'm working. Okay. Like, that'll be his.
When are you at Stanhope's?
I'll be at Stanhope's the first. So I'm doing, hold on, 3rd, 4th, and hold on.
Oh, September.
I'm a fucking idiot. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I'm at Wise Guys in Salt Lake. So the 6th, I'm going to rent a car and drive from Salt Lake to Bisbee, which is, I think that's like a 13-hour drive. So I'll be there the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So 3 days.
That's not bad. That's gonna be fun. I thought.
No, that'll be good.
I'm not looking in. I'm looking in October. I called him and I was like, "Hey, I might." Yeah, I've been texting back and forth with him a lot lately. Randomly,
He's great.
He's the best, man. He is for as aggressive as his comedy is, where people would get upset or it would offend people or walk people out of a room. It's not that. It's brilliantly written. I mean,
Yeah.
He takes swings at things that I wouldn't take swings at, and then shows me a different way to do it. I used to say that with Louis. Like, Louis would do a joke that I'd go, I had that premise, but I didn't sit and think it through. You know,
Yeah.
Doug's bit, I think he did it on his last special about the call center in India. Did you hear that bit?
Yeah.
It's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. And it at its base is I called tech support joke. That's the joke. But
Yeah.
the way his brain reworks that is so brilliant. You go, that's what I love about. That's what I love about your joke that we were talking about earlier. Is it just was. It's the word. It's and that and like the wording, and I think that's what you and Stanhope have in common. The town over. Is that what you said? The town over.
Yeah. So they're the fastest ones.
Yeah, and it's just like that wording is what sticks with you. And I think like great wording. So many comics don't think enough about how they're saying it. Like, have the premise, but then say it pretty also, you know? Are you looking at your dad?
Yeah. I'm so mad about it. It's so annoying. It's so annoying.
Was he just talking on the phone?
Yes. Oh, okay. That's what he's saying right now. Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. He's working.
What's your dad do?
He's a salesman. So what he does now, so he's on the phone with a guy and he's old, so he's made all his connections. So all he has to do is occasionally just check in with people and be their friend. So he has an office that he sends like 2 or 3 emails a day from, and that's his day. I'm sorry. Me and him are gonna fight. I'm gonna fight him after this. You can?
I would have made a good salesman.
Yeah, I thought I was okay. I sold cars right out of college, and I was
Really?
a decent salesman. Yeah, but I didn't know shit about cars, so that hurt. Every once in a while, you motherfucker. I'm so sorry.
That's I don't care.
I know it's also yeah.
I can definitely hear him. What's he saying?
I don't know.
That's the beauty of a podcast, though, is like the thing I love about it. You know, my favorite thing about Rogan's early podcast was he had a landline that would ring every now and then. It would just ring. He'd be like, God damn it. It used to make me giggle that it would ring every now and then. You go like, oh, like almost like it was like oh, there's the old landline. And I miss that about the high, the fucking structure that he has now, where it's like fucking like that. There's no broken parts to it anymore. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I like a broken part in a podcast. It's what I love about like Legion of Skanks. The last time I did Legion of Skanks, it was I remember being like, I can't believe people listen to this, because Lewis was just fighting with someone in the audience, and it was like, and I was like, this is what's beautiful about a podcast, is that a diehard fan is sitting there going, oh shit, Lewis is doing his thing. You know, it's like you really find the thumbprint of the group or of the show by the broken parts. And I remember being so high, being like, if this was my podcast, I'd be like, we need to fix this, and we need a camera on this person. But I was like, there's no camera on this person. It's just Lewis fighting with a woman who has issue with Legion Skanks. And then I thought, so that is in essence part of this show, is that there are people that feel underrepresented, and Lewis is standing up for them because this woman is fighting with them in essence. I'm high as fuck at the time, and I'm going, so that's like, it's the beauty of what makes a great podcast, is your listeners tether onto the thing that they need in you, you know?
Of course. Yeah, good. I'm glad your phone rang.
Hang on. Yeah. My cameraman. Oh, did I lose you? There you are. Yeah, my fucking. Ugh. Well, dude, this has been a great podcast, man. I really sincerely appreciate you taking the time.
Sorry, I checked out as soon as.
Nah.
There's just my dad talking in the background. It's like it's all I can hear, and all he's doing is going, okay, because he's got to look at a computer to check this. I know what he's doing right now should take 1 minute, and it's 10 minutes because he's got to figure out. Him and another 60-year-old are trying to figure out fucking emails in the middle of Pennsylvania. That's what's happening right now.
What?
Yep. I am clicking on that. I'm clicking on that right now. What else is there? No, that's yours. Okay. It's just like it's.
What? Listen, if there's anything you want taken out of this, we'll take it out. I don't have a problem with that. I do that all the time. I have Halston go through and clean shit up all the time. So and we're not posting this for like another 2 weeks. So sit on it. And if there's something you're like, hey man, can you pull that out? We'll pull it out, clean it up. No problem whatsoever. I had Bobby Kelly pull out something for me a long time ago. And I hounded him so much that he goes, if you call me one more time, I'm just going to put it in all over the place.
No, I think I'm good. In 2 weeks, I can make that Milwaukee's Bucks joke. If that came out today, I'd be like, maybe drop that one. In 2 weeks, people will be like, all right, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I'll be all right.
So wait, where are you at? In, let's see. Well, maybe we'll put it up next week and promote your dates.
That'd be great. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th of September, I'll be at Wise Guys in Salt Lake. The 10th, 11th, 12th, I'll be at House of Comedy in Phoenix, Arizona. And the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, House of Comedy in Minnesota.
Fuck yeah, those are great.
Those are the next couple of dates. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Please tell all of them I said hi. I haven't been.
Yeah.
I saw Keith recently. I just did that room. It's a great socially distanced room.
You were actually, before we go, I'll tell you this. You were the first comic I featured for.
For real?
Yeah, so it was, you did a Helium Call into Sick show. So it was the Thursday, it was the early show at like noon or whatever you would do those shows. And the feature they had scheduled didn't know about it. So the manager real quick called me like right before the show. And I was like, because I lived like 2 blocks away. I was like, yeah, I'll be down. It was my first feature. Came down, did well. You were drinking, motherfucker. I'm just listening to this motherfucking old motherfucker talk. I'm going to fight my dad. I'm going to get my ass beat by my dad. All right. So you were drinking fucking, what's that whiskey? Fireball.
Oh, God.
So there's a handle of Fireball. This is a noon show. I went, did well. You brought me back on, which was fun. We made fun of, I called my ex-girlfriend Tuna. And you're like, that's funny. Yeah. You're like, you got to go into that more. Because I was talking about how I had to watch my ex-girlfriend play rugby in college. Her name was Tuna.
I remember that.
I was like, fucking big Tuna.
God,
she ran like Mike Allstott. So we were talking about it, but then you were like, all right, let's do a shot before your set. All right. So we filled up a solo cup. Not a shot, dude. You like filled up like half a solo cup. And I was just holding it like, fuck. You dosed me now that I'm thinking about it. Because I had to go along with it. I couldn't be on stage in front of a sold out Helium and be like, no, I'm not going to drink. Like, I had to be like, okay. So I took it and I was like, oh, that was terrible. And you were like dancing and you're like, one more. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, so I remember the music I was into at the time too.
What was it? Dude,
it was this song. Oh God, it was this song by God, I forget the name of the band, but I remember that song so vividly. Yeah.
And you were dancing to it.
When the tequila runs out, we'll drink champagne.
Okay. Damn, I remember that.
The tequila.
I remember you saying that.
We'll be drinking champagne.
So then I think we did 3 of those total. So it was like we drank like a solo cup full of fucking Fireball. And then at like 1, this is at 1 p.m. basically. And it was like, all right, you got an 8 p.m. I don't know how you do it. I have no idea. I was like 27 26 at the time, maybe 27, maybe 28. And I was like, I can't hang with this. Like, this is crazy.
Did we do shows that night?
Yeah. We did, and this is what was heartbreaking. I went back, and the feature came to that, the guy who was scheduled. So then it was one of those things where it was like, all right, it was nice to meet you guys. You were like, here's my email, hit me up. Dude, I spent the next 2 years emailing probably your agent, being like, can I feature? Like, just,
oh, for real?
No. Don't look them up because they're guaranteed they're fucking embarrassing. Don't fucking look them up.
I wonder if I can get him.
Don't fucking look them up. They're going to be horrible. It'd be so funny if the last one's like me hammered, like, you fucking bitch.
Oh my God, I got a lot.
Shut up. Delete your emails.
Hey.
Don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare.
I know.
Don't you fucking dare, dude. Don't read these.
Also, I've been helpful whenever and almost whenever you ever needed.
Don't you read these? Why would I ever have told you?
Hey, man, happy birthday.
No way.
I swear to God.
What year? Don't be recent.
This is November 4th, 2016.
Ah, that's late. That's late to be wishing a stranger happy birthday.
Oh, hey, this one's funny.
You're the only one.
Hey, man, I don't know if you know, but I just got SNL. Wait, what? No.
You mind if I open for you? I lost it. Yeah.
Dude, when we do our next tour, if we're over on the East Coast, I'll hit you up. I would love to have you come on.
No, it's too late. I can't do it.
I'm past you. I don't know if it anymore, Bert.
I can't do it. No, I'd be happy to. It's that has haunted me. That's one of those things that I've regretted. Like, I would just email. You're the only guy I ever did it to. Only, ever. There's nobody else that I emailed like that.
Oh,
crazy. Yeah.
That's fucking,
I was like, no, he liked me. All I need to do is feature. That'll be my big break. That's what I was thinking.
By the way, it's not a bad idea that this email you sent me on November 4th would have been really interesting. That's an interesting time in my life when you wrote happy birthday, because I had just released my special. And
happy birthday.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I think we meshed pretty well.
No.
Swear to God, I swear to God. Anyway, I looked at your schedule.
Shut up. God damn it.
Oh.
Look.
Oh, that's fucking great. That's a perfect way to end this podcast. That's fucking perfect, dude.
Yeah. It's good for you to know that. Yeah. 4 years ago, I was desperately reaching out.
By the way, I was at a lower place in my career at the time. I was like, God, I can't sell a ticket. Oh, fuck. Dude, I'm telling you, man, we really enjoyed listening to your comedy on the bus.
Cool.
We were laughing hysterically. You're funny as fucking shit. And that is the signifier. That is the defining thing in this business is, do you make people laugh? You know, the reason Kramer isn't around is because he never could make anyone laugh. He just couldn't.
Well,
you know,
I also, he didn't.
I mean, no, like
a little.
He, even Chappelle said it. He was like, he wanted him to turn it around as a comic. He's like, turn this around.
Yeah.
But and you're funny as fuck, man. You're funny as fuck. And I'm telling you, good luck with the J thing. Good luck with the Ari thing. Good luck. Congratulations as vice president.
Thank you. Delete those fucking emails.
I'll delete them.
Yeah, sure you fucking will.
I won't read them at the beginning of this. Dude, hey, thank you for doing this, man.
Happy birthday, man. That's the craziest thing. Look, I was drinking. It was a desperate time.
I do think we mesh well.
I think we meshed pretty well.
We meshed pretty well.
It's good for me as an open micer to be giving you business advice.
Hey, man, I think we meshed pretty well together.
You want to start moving some tickets?
I'm gonna be free in January. You're the best, brother. Take care.
Thanks,
Keep
man.
safe. Enjoy your family. I'll talk to you later. Enjoy Stanhope.
delete those motherfucking emails.
Sure.